look at the funk.
Could you stop playing with that radio of yours? I'm trying to get to sleep. Could you stop playing with that radio of yours? I'm trying to get to sleep. Could you stop? Could you stop? I'm trying to get to. I'm trying to get to.
Let's look at the funk. podcast is powered by Control. Control is a meal replacement and functional foods business whose mission is to improve the lifestyles of gamers and content creators by making them healthier. Their meal replacement shakes and meal on the go bars are the best tasting products in their category while also giving you all the protein, vitamins, minerals, and other nutrients you need to keep you going. Check out drinkcontrol.com and try out the sample kits to see what all the hype is about.
Hello, friends, and welcome to episode 146 of the XboxEra podcast. I'm your host, Sick Mechanico, and I'm joined, as usual, by a special Nick.
What's going on?
Extreme close-up! No, let's not do that. It's been a week. How you doing, bro? You good?
Not bad. Just a bit tired.
Yeah, I am also
bit tired.
exhausted. It's going to be a sleepy episode. Cozy up.
It is.
Get a blanket or something.
The
sit
weird
by a
part is
fire.
I've been getting sleep. Like the hours of sleep I'm getting are fine. I just maybe I'm not sleeping properly through the night. I need an Apple Watch to track my sleep.
You know what I do is I don't sleep, or survive on 4 or 5 hours a night. And then I have like one day where I'm like, oh, I'm going to get like 9 hours. And then I do. And then the next day I pay for it by feeling all sleepy and tired all day.
Yeah, you
like,
feel
what have you
even
done?
more tired. Yeah,
It's really weird. But hey ho, he roasted XboxEra. That's not very kind. Yeah, that's
Rand.
true.
Yeah, I listened to that. What
did he say? What did he say that was mean?
He was just telling people not to listen to us and all that sort of stuff.
And Rand, I know, you might detest, nay, despise the gentleman on my right, but you and me are buddies. Speaking of gentlemen that are on my right and just below me, hi Jesse. Do you want to pop up and say hello?
Hi. I don't know if I turned my mic on or off, but hello.
Hello, mate. I can
Hi.
hear you. I presume everyone else.
Then that means it's on. Hello.
Jolly good. But yeah, so it's been a week. It's been a surprisingly busy week in terms of news. There's actually a frightening amount to talk about.
I know.
But thankfully the chat's here, all having a good discussion already. I can see Proven in the chat saying that if you say to make Gears a survival horror game one more time, he's going to downvote the show, which is...
He can do that if he wants.
I mean, it's a bit...
Doesn't make me any less correct. He can downvote. He can not like it. He can do whatever he wants. I'm still right.
I don't want them to go open world. But anyway, look, we'll get into that. We'll get
God.
into this. We'll do this slowly and carefully. But before we do, have you had your breakfast?
I did. I didn't have the breakfast I normally have, but I have had breakfast. But if you haven't had breakfast, you should. I've got my brother's kids here, so I was organising breakfast for them, and I got Hot Cross Buns, and then it turns out one of them doesn't eat Hot Cross Buns, so I ended up eating a bunch of Hot Cross Buns.
I hate Hot Cross Buns if they've got the sultanas in. Like if it's a plain
Yeah,
Hot
I don't
Cross
like
bun,
the fruit ones anymore.
I'm a big fan. Give me just butter on a toast.
Fruitless. I like just the
fruitless.
fruitless Hot Cross Buns.
Hot fruit, man. No, I'm out.
You should do the actual ad and then do a tangent.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah.
So if you haven't had your breakfast, then you should order some Control at www.drinkcontrol.com/XboxEra and use our code for 10% off XboxEra and have some of the best powdered meal replacement you've ever had in your life.
See, we're already into the tangent, so people that are used to us will know this by now. But tangent number one, speaking as you brought up Hot Cross Buns, there's a bit of a debate about the old Cadbury's mini eggs, right? In that somehow they're the best Easter chocolate, and I can't disagree. They're pretty good. Like I had some Galaxy Enchanted eggs, which are like posh eggs. It tastes like Galaxy chocolate, which is arguably the better chocolate. But there's something about the smell of the mini egg that just wins out. And two, on the subject of breakfast, I don't know, like a decade ago or 15 years ago, my favorite cereal in the whole wide world was cancelled here in the UK and is no longer produced, which is Golden Grahams, Nestle Golden Grahams. Do you ever have these as a kid? They're really good. I love them. I found out I could import them from France via Amazon, so I did. It is the most expensive box of cereal I've ever bought at $7.99 a box.
Golden Grahams.
They turned up today and they are so good.
What are they?
They're like little squares of golden, crunchy deliciousness, and I love them to pieces. So I'm really glad to have them back in my life. I can even get them on a subscribe and save and spend like 20 quid a month.
I've literally never heard of.
Move to America, John, and you can have all the Golden Grahams you want. We still make
See, in cinnamon grahams, I know they're
I can buy a box of them off this website for $61.
$61.
Apparently, $61 for a box of Golden Grahams.
See, Australia knows that they're valuable. They're good.
No, my favorite cereal was just like, I don't know. It used to just be like Fruit Loops or Cocoa Pops.
Cocoa Pops is a good one. Like, I don't believe as I'm an adult now that I should suddenly eat adult cereal. You're like, no, give me the sugary fun stuff.
I mean, I do eat adult cereal because I found a really nice one that's full of like berries and muesli. It's nice. It's very, very nice. And sometimes I'll have it with yogurt.
Only here on the XboxEra podcast will you get.
But Scott's wrong. Fruit Hot Cross Buns are not the best ones.
No, they're not.
It's the ones without fruit, or the ones I got the other night that the kids had this morning were brioche hot cross buns with Cadbury choc chips in them.
Shut up. Is that even a hot cross bun at this point? It sounds like a cake of some kind. But I'm in to try it out.
Brioche hot cross buns with Cadbury choc chips.
I'll see if I can find them somewhere. They sound like I'm winning.
They're good stuff.
Before we get into the news of the week, have you been playing any video games, Nicholas?
I have, just not new ones. So because I'm juggling so many, there's not much room for new games. So I continue with HiFi RUSH. I've continued with Dead Space Remake. I've continued with GoldenEye. With GoldenEye, I'm just doing I'm basically doing a stage a day with GoldenEye because I'm doing them all on 00 Agent. So I'm just going to do one each day on 00 Agent, make my way through. Once I've done them all on 00 Agent, then I'll go for the cheat runs because I'm also playing it on Switch. So I'm playing it on 2 consoles at the moment.
I heard GaaS from Game On Daily has actually become a bigger, GoldenEye super fan than you by 1,000 gamer scoring the game on Xbox already. Done.
Yeah, I saw.
Impressive work. Yep. Clearly a big fan. But
or he just has no life.
Yeah, that's entirely possible actually, judging from some of the source videos. It may be a thing. Love you, Gaz. I've been playing. I've completed a review of a game.
Oh, is that really bad one?
I shouldn't really.
Is it still embargoed? Oh
yeah, it's embargoed for another 10 days as long as we don't say anything about what the game is. You can
why are you
give
talking about
as
it
long
then?
as you don't. If you don't say what it is, you can intimate that you've had an unhappy time with the game.
So, I mean, I feel like I've put my thoughts down on paper and in a video soon. I liked some aspects of it, and at first I was like, oh, okay, and then it just went so off the rails that I think it honestly feels like a bit of a con. And I'm really surprised at some of the previews I've seen from other outlets. Like, really surprised. I'm like, what did you? I like to the point where I was like, did I do something wrong? Like, have I played a different game? Did I not do a thing? And somehow the game broke on me or something? But no, I think I'm right.
Right. I played it for a few hours. I got to the end of the first level without dying or anything, and then I couldn't take it anymore. It was so terrible. I could not. I gave up. I immediately uninstalled it.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I would say this: like, I normally, as the co-founder, somewhat cherry pick which games I cover. Right, I stay in my lane. I usually do the arty-farty ones, but this was one of my favorite genres of game when I was younger. And I thought I could revisit that past and enjoy it. And it turns out that either the game is not what it proclaimed to be, or I'm old and just not with it anymore.
It's really poorly balanced, where some forms of being hit do almost no damage, and then some forms of being hit are 1 or 2 hit kills for no reason. It doesn't make any sense, and you can't really do much to stop them. Sometimes.
Yeah, it's a thing. So it's the first ever scathingly sarcastic Sicca Mechanico review. You can look forward to that being delivered with as much snark as humanly possible in a couple of weeks' time.
My lowest is a 4. The lowest review I've done was a 4, and that was for a game that borderline didn't work properly. Like, it was, I mean, it worked, but it was just so, yeah, it's out there. It's called, I won't name the game because that feels mean. If you go through my reviews, I haven't done a ton of them. If you go through my reviews, you'll see it. Portal Player. Okay, so I'm guessing Portal Player, who's in the comments right now, is saying, my first time playing GoldenEye, it's a very confusing game. The objectives are hard to figure out. Portal Player. Back in 1996, mate, there were no waypoints telling us, go to this point and go to... That's how GoldenEye was designed. GoldenEye, like, when I went back to GoldenEye, because it had been so long since I'd played it, on the Dam, and I've played the Dam like 10 times already. I just love the Dam. It's one of my favorite opening levels of a first-person shooter ever. I went around, I got to the halfway point, and I saw all those boxes, and I saw that what looked like a computer screen on the wall connecting to a pipe to the roof, and I just shot it. And it was like, hey, you've cut the communication link. You won't be able to upload the data. I'm like, okay, I wasn't meant to do that. So on the next playthrough again, I went back and put the remote scrambler downloader thing on it, and it was like, yep, objective C completed. That's how those games were. Like, you had to just trial and error or figure things out yourself, do a lot of searching around levels. That's what I loved about it. I like it when a first-person shooter lets me play at my own pace.
You know what it needs?
And lets me do it my way.
You know what it needs?
What?
It needs a 15-year-old boy following Bond around,
telling him what to do,
and telling him what to
solving
do.
puzzles for him. Hey, this computer looks like you could do something with it. What should we do with it?
And if you take more than 3 seconds, he says, "Oh, put the scrambler on it."
Yeah. What happens if you put the scrambler on that you've equipped? What happens to the computer? That might be the way.
Maybe Natalia. Is it Natalia? Is the femme fatale in GoldenEye?
I think so.
Ginger hair or whatever it was, the bob.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just got through the first row of levels, and there's like 5 or 6. So I just got through it, and they're all 00 agented. And I've just got to make my way through now, all of them. I still enjoy it.
Well, I've been playing that game, that game. I also loaded up The Outer Wilds. Because I've heard so many good things about it, and I've bounced it once. Because it's one of those games that really wants you to pay attention and kind of figure things out, and it's obviously time loop and everything resets, and then it saves everything for you, and then there's some discoveries to be made. It runs a lot better now. It's had a Series X and S.
Got a patch.
So I'm hoping to get that done. And I've been playing something else that, again, I cannot talk about in any way, shape, or form. And that's where I'll leave it there. So it's been a busy week. It's been a busy week. And lots
Have you
of
played
news.
Dead Space Remake yet?
Me?
Yeah.
Never will, man. Never will. Never in a million years.
So good.
I mean, it
Okay,
looks
so John,
cool.
if you play through on easy the first time through, it's not really scary.
It's not.
If you
It
play
has a
through
few.
New Game,
It does have a few jump scare moments, like some that I had forgotten about from when I last played it in 2008. Like, I was just walking around, and all of a sudden, this thing just bursts out of the side, and I'm just like, "Holy shit!" Like, I had a few of those.
I just nah, it's not for me. Horror games in general, they're just not. That's not my lane, and I will stay well out. I just wouldn't
good,
enjoy
though,
it.
Dead Space.
It's an action
Dead
horror
Space.
game. It's not.
It's
It's
like
only survival if you're on hard. If you're not on hard
Dead
and you're on
Space-
easy, it's not bad.
It's just such a high quality game. Like it's just
Oh,
so,
yeah, it
even
looks
in 2008, ignoring the remake, even the original in 2008, it was just. I still say to this day, it's the best Resident Evil game. Dead Space is better than any Resident Evil game, and I love Resident Evil. Love Resident Evil 5 especially. 4, 7 is good. 2 remake is amazing, but Dead Space is just. Oh,
Look, I'm perfectly happy to say it's an incredible game. It's just not my kind of game. But yeah, I've completed HiFi RUSH now. I think I mentioned that last week. I don't know if I'd wrapped it. I might have been playing through it last Saturday, but that's all done. I might go back and mop up some achievements. I found a lot of the health gauges and things like that.
mhm.
It's been weird seeing. Obviously, we were one of the first reviews out here, thanks to Jesse. Right? We forced him at gunpoint to do the reviews.
It was the first.
It was the first. Well, I say
Not
one
one
of
of.
if you include the ones that came like 3 days after. We were the first review, publication to review the game, and it was really weird now seeing some of the later reviews land. Well, I saw one where I'm just like, what? Like, what does the game have to do? Like, especially when I compared it, and you know what? Normally I don't do this, but sod it. Let's get a little. I don't know. Let's call this out. I'm trying to remember the magazine. Someone help me out. The one that gave it a 69.
Oh, PC Gamer.
Is it PC Gamer or PC Games N?
I thought it was PC Gamer.
PC gamer.
It was
I
PC
remember
Gamer,
correctly.
right? And look, I'm not. He's happy to feel about the game as he feels, right? It's fine. 69%, 69 out of a 100, right? That's
very specifically chosen.
right.
I don't care what anyone says. That is very specifically chosen.
Right. But here's
Yep.
where I find it's really strange, right? Because if I read their review policy, we have one, right? We tell you where our scores land, like between 0 and 10. Here's where I'm like confused. I've read his review, right? Listen to the definition of this range. There's something here to like, but it can only be recommended with major caveats. Where does that fit this particular? What's the major caveat? Help me out
what's
here.
the major caveat for
That's what I'm looking
Hi-Fi
at. I'm
Rush?
like-
Have good taste. If you don't have good taste, you won't like it.
What? It's too expensive? What? It's too long? What? It's like
The only thing
That's-
I can see he seems to complain about is that the music doesn't commit, and then he seems to be a Fall Out Boy fan. It's fine, like it's just a review. It doesn't matter. But I don't understand reviews that you read them and then you read the score and you're like, these things don't align. It's really weird.
that's a very specifically chosen number.
Very.
And I'm not going to go into why, but I know why. But there's a very specific reason that number was chosen. And it's also the reason Microsoft Shadow dropped the game.
To avoid that
That's a part of the reason. To avoid a review like that becoming the narrative and dragging the game down. That's part of the reason they did it. It was a very, very smart move. Because what happened was the game sold itself. Everyone loved it. And the momentum meant that
reviews
most
didn't matter.
reviews weren't going to matter. And most reviewers probably unconsciously or subconsciously didn't want to go against the grain.
That, I think, absolutely. Now, there will be some that will be like, I'm going to go against the grain because people are going to click it and complain.
That's right.
And that's such a sad state of affairs for games media as a whole, right? It's just bugs me.
It's
But
like,
whatever.
everyone's loving this
I was accused
game.
of doing that with Forspoken. I only gave it a bad score to get people to click. I was like, no,
Oh,
I
yeah,
hated the
because
game.
other people hadn't given it a bad score.
Because you definitely didn't align with the majority of the industry.
Yeah, other people. All right, that had glowing reviews until your review came along. But that's the thing. They're like, well, my good review's just going to get buried with all the others.
And to be honest,
Out of
why
whack.
would we want to cover that in 2 years' time when it might come out on Xbox if Square Enix deem it so? No one's gonna like the narrative set. There's no.
That's it. And that's what happens. That's why the Shadow Drop was genius for HiFi RUSH.
Yeah.
Because the narrative is the game selling itself and everyone loving it.
You got to wonder, right? You got to wonder if there's an element of like, you know, the team sitting in a room, like the creative director, and was it John Johanas, right? Sitting in a room. You know what they're going to say? They're going to see the trailer and they're going to go, ugh, kids game. And then the narrative's going to start that we've been forced to do this, X, Y, and Z. I wonder if genuinely that's the conversation that happened. I'd love to get John on the show and just ask, like, you know, genuinely ask that question and see if he's willing to.
I don't know if he'd tell us even if it was the case. But
I
it's
wonder if they
disappointing.
feel that way,
I've said this before, and I still hate that we live in a gaming world where realistic graphics are still the be all and end all. I hate it. Like, I saw Colt tweeting that it's like one of the best looking games he's ever played, and it is. It is one of the best looking games going around. Did you see the Digital
Foundry video on it?
No.
Where they made sure to say that it was the first Xbox big game in over a year, because none of the other ones counted. But yes, other than that, they gushed about it.
Yeah, they did gush about it.
Okay.
And
I did see a tweet that it would feature in their graphics of the year, and I'm like, yeah, okay, feature. Not going to win. But like, I saw a Colt tweet about how it's one of the best looking games ever seen, and then I saw people, even people that I'm, I guess, friends with, saying, oh, but you know, how can you say that about cartoony graphics? And I'm just like, really?
The presentation
like, is that
so
really
clean.
where we are with video games? Like, I don't understand it. I don't understand this need for games to look realistic. Like, have a look. The Last of Us has been remastered twice. Why? Because the original game ain't great looking anymore.
Yeah.
But at the time, it was, oh my God, this is the greatest looking video game ever. So then why isn't it 10 years later? Guess what, people? HiFi RUSH is still going to be stunning in 15 years' time. It won't need to be remastered. Yeah. Zelda Wind Waker is still gorgeous, as much as I dislike that game. It's still gorgeous.
Still beautiful.
Mark of the Ninja. Like, this is a visual style. I think this is the visual style that should be more prevalent because it doesn't age, because it doesn't need to be remastered, because it's just this need
the thing about the presentation of that is find me a Jaggy. Find me a Jaggy in that game.
Oh, it's just... And I'm not saying every single game should look like this. I'm just saying I feel it should be more prevalent than it currently is. Like, these games are beautiful games, and games like Ori, and games like Benedict Fox, and games like Planet of Lana, and Artful Escape, and I love looking at games like that. Games where all you want to do is take screenshot for wallpapers.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know, I can see Topp with the Superchat in the chat, and he mentioned this, and you know, I don't want to call PC Gamer out, right? The reviewer is entitled to feel how he feels. I just found that the review did not equal the score, and the score policy then, I was like, where's the major caveat in this? But whatever, Metro had the worst paragraph, the wasteland.
Oh my God, that was so
that
stupid.
has been the Xbox release schedule for the last few years, limits the accolades we can give the game, but it's a breath of fresh air for Xbox gamers.
So because we think Xbox hasn't released a lot of games lately, we can't give this game a high score. What?
I mean, that's one way to interpret it.
What does that mean?
Like, you could interpret it, and I'm playing devil's advocate here. You could interpret it as, we can't say this is one of the best Xbox games they've released this year because they haven't released any in the life. Like, you could interpret it that way, but Metro is like, have you seen the cherry-picked opinion pieces Metro post on Game Central every now and then? Man, the cult has been furious at writing in, and it's often, funnily enough, PlayStation fans talking about Microsoft. It's really weird, and it's always a negative Microsoft article. So strange.
And if you go back through like 2020, Microsoft and Sony are pretty neck and neck for amount of games released and Metacritic score. They're both releasing a lot of very good games. They've both had long droughts in between releases. Like, it's going to happen during the pandemic, but Xbox is more recent. So it's just all people think of, and they pretend like nothing else happened.
I do wonder how this year's gonna pop. Is it gonna just be, but they released PSVR 2, so that counts. I don't know.
Well, like Final Fantasy 16 and their third-party stuff, if Helldivers 2 hits. And,
Is
the
Final
third-party
Fantasy
stuff,
16 exclusive? I can't remember.
Yes, it's exclusive to PS5 at launch, and then it'll be on PC afterwards, but they're pretending it won't be.
Wow. Jesus Christ. Never changed games industry. But thank you, Topp, for the super chat. It was yes, that was an entertaining clip it from the Metro. But yeah, HiFi RUSH, great game. Minor tangent. Still got to tackle the news. Let's tackle the news.
Yeah. Is my mic still popping?
No,
it's better now.
Apologies.
Okay.
Apologies.
Okay.
Microsoft did their financial results.
Yeah.
What's the
Probably
headline
should shut.
here?
They probably should just shut down, shouldn't they?
Yeah. I mean, what
Yeah.
was it?
Just shut Xbox down.
Drop across the board, really? Primarily?
Sort of.
6%,
But
5-6%.
they should
But
just-
it's comparing
they
it
should just
to
shut
a
up
really
shop.
high pandemic quarter, is it not?
I don't even know. I never know
Yes,
how to
it
read
was-
that stuff.
It was being compared year over year to one of the main high points of the pandemic bubble, which burst for everyone.
Just shut it all down because they're getting crushed. They're getting crushed. So they should just shut it all down. Seeing a lot of people making a ton of assumptions about Xbox console sales.
Yeah. A lot.
Funnily
Lots and
enough.
lots.
A lot of
Lots
people
of
using their personal estimates as just like, well, this is how much they've sold. Because my estimate puts them at this much. So that must be how much they've sold, which means the gap is huge.
Yeah.
I'm still going to turn around and say that I just don't think that gap is what people think it is. I still, because everyone's like, oh, but if Microsoft was doing super well, they'd scream it from the rooftops. It's like, no, they wouldn't, because they said they wouldn't. And I think it's for that reason. That's the reason I think they won't, because if they decide to scream from the rooftops at the one little window where they're doing well, and then they stop screaming from the rooftops, people will know that they only scream from the rooftops when they're doing well. That's why they'll never do it. I don't think they'll ever give the numbers. The only scenario I ever see them giving numbers is if they had like an insurmountable lead in console sales. That's it.
Yeah.
That's the only time I see them mentioning it. If it was an insurmountable lead.
Yeah, I think Microsoft, they made a couple of bets. Some of them didn't fully play out. Like, I think they definitely heavily bet on Series S throughout, the holiday period last year. It was definitely the right thing to do from a budget perspective. But the more I find that's amusing about this is the assumption that because this multi-billion-dollar company is X down, it's not like the business is now unviable. Please shut it all down. It's fine. Like, there's not much to talk about. They were down compared to a really high year last year. Okay. But there's always
then their MAU was up. Wasn't their MAU? They had a record MAU.
Record high. But then wasn't the number that we had, the last number given was back in 2020? So it was like the last number given was 100 million, and now it's 120 million.
The problem is that's what these companies do. They all of them spin their numbers in a way because they're all beholden to shareholders. So the MAU was 120 million, which was more than PlayStation's MAU. But does Xbox count me logging into the app as a MAU? Does PlayStation count me logging into the app as a MAU? What do they count as a MAU?
They don't count Minecraft, otherwise they'd be like 400 million.
Yeah, I'm rapidly also
They
learning
don't
that
count
I hate
Minecraft.
No, Minecraft's like
MAU.
180 on its own.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah,
Meow.
Minecraft's
Meow.
ridiculous.
Wow.
Meow.
Wow.
Meow. Oh dear.
Yeah,
But yeah,
I mean, whatever. I'm sure they'll be fine. They're $1 trillion company. I'm sure.
I'm not really.
I reckon they'll probably pull through this.
You know
We
what?
see
though?
numbers going down and ignore the fact that they're still making hand over fist. None of them are not making a ridiculous amount of money. It's just the never-ending
That's what I
pushing
thought.
for
Like,
growth of capitalism. They're
They
making
say it's
more
like down
money than ever.
13%, but it could be down 13% from like an all-time high. Like
is.
it's,
Well, that's exactly it.
yeah.
It was the pandemic, and everyone was indoors playing video games, and they had a really good year of actual games. Like 2021 was a really good year for video.
yeah, it was. And last
For
year
them,
they had
for
none.
Microsoft specifically, I think they won Publisher of the Year that year with Metacritic, if memory serves.
No,
me.
it's been years since they had anything. Metro told me that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. We should totally do that. I mean, I find it also interesting, and I'm going to shift things around on our news. Right. Lots of everyone's still waiting for ABK results, but there's been lots of subpoenas for information Microsoft has sent to Sony on business practices, exclusivity deals, all of this. I
liked what Microsoft did there, and Sony's like, but oh my god, it's going to take so long to get all that paperwork.
We can't do it in that short time frame.
Come on, we're going to have to get so many people to go and find all that paperwork. Oh, come on, oh man. It's like, well, what do you want? Do you think Microsoft wasn't going to call you out if you were going to sit there busting balls for the last year? I love the fact that Microsoft's like, why don't you show us all those deals you were making since 2011, 2012? That's going to be some very interesting paperwork coming out of that.
Yeah,
I'm hearing shredding machines going in the background.
Well, it's more, what was there was another thing, speaking of financial results and console sales and all of that nonsense that people get really worked up about. Someone in America from Sony was talking about how fantastically brilliant the PS5 is doing, right? And it is. It's selling gangbusters. It's very, very popular. But I'm like, dude, you're meant to be playing down the fact that you're a market leader with an unassailable position, and here you are out in America. Right. If I were Microsoft, I'd be like, look at this quote from January of 2023. They're saying unassailable lead, blah, blah, blah. And it's are you sure that we can't compete by purchasing Activision?
Look at God of War. 11 million sales in 3 months.
That was the ABK lady on Twitter talking about how, look, The Last of Us, look how well the show's doing. They obviously can have things to play Call of Duty. Look how big this IP is now.
They don't even need Call of Duty. All their IPs are so huge. I mean, God of War, 11 million for God of War, hardly bundled. I mean, let's ignore the fact that the only disc-based PS5 you could buy for 2 months was the God of War bundle, but we'll just set that to the side just for a minute. 11 million copies in 3 months. Well, who needs COD? I guess they don't. I guess they don't need it. Their stuff's huge.
Oh, that's all very silly, isn't it? Anyway,
subpoenas and extensions of subpoenas, and what else was there? There was something else that just I don't know. I think the CMA is about to make
CMA should be something very soon. European Commission something very soon.
The EU sent their concerns to Microsoft to work on remedies, essentially. That was the thing Ryan McCaffrey tweeted about and was like, "Oh, this sounds bad." And then people are like, "No, actually, they do that when they think they
want to find a way forward."
Yeah. They think that they can make this work.
Well researched. Soon, guys. Look, I'm counting down the days. Do you think that we'll be able to stop talking about it come June? Do you think that it won't be a thing every episode?
It'll just be the FTC mostly at that point, I bet.
Give some monkeys about those guys. Didn't they just lose the Meta case?
Yeah, they're really bad in court.
Oh dear. It's really hard to argue.
I don't think the issue is the FTC. The FTC is not an issue. It's CMA and EU.
Yeah, I'm just saying for having to talk about this, the FTC will still be a thing to talk about for a while, but everything else will probably be done.
Never mind. Never mind, chat. Don't worry, chat. Tell you what you should worry about. You should try hitting that like button because it really helps us out because the algorithm on which YouTube run demands that you press that thumb. It's not just us asking nicely. It's a necessity for us to succeed at what we do. So
my thing with this ABK stuff is how much more can be said? Until the juicy stuff starts to come out, in the Epic versus Apple case, how much more can you retread ground? We know what the CMA is saying is stupid. We know.
Well, we know what they were saying seemed very heavily aligned to Sony's initial talking points, but
it still appears that way anyway. I'm reading something which is a quote that someone posted in the Discord. Microsoft's legal team also expects the antitrust authority in Britain to oppose the transaction. While it believes the European Commission is open to potential remedies, according to 4 people briefed on the matter who were not authorized to speak publicly. Like, so it's all just hearsay, and I heard this and I heard that, and just I still don't know why there's any concessions needed. I still find it crazy that concessions are needed for a video game.
Here's the thing that I wish would happen. I mean, it won't, right? But it would be really, really great from a juicy, hilarious perspective. All of the whinging, all of the whining from Sony about Call of Duty and, you know, the 10-year deal offered. And then it comes through and the EU and the UK say, yeah, if I were Microsoft, I'd be like, shame you didn't sign that deal, guys. It's Call of Duty exclusive to Microsoft platforms. Like, I would just, so honestly, funny. I would tell them to go swivel.
Yeah,
if it were me, but, you know, whatever.
So would I.
I don't even care.
It's not like they can't afford the fines.
No, exactly. Just from a pure, like, you know, yeah, fuck you. But whatever.
Yep.
Anyway, let's stop talking about ABK. Let's talk about more Microsoft disasters after the financials. Lots and lots of big Halo news, thanks to Jason Schreier finally getting in there with the big what's going on behind the scenes 343 article. This is Jesse's favorite part of the XboxEra podcast. He loves Nick's takes on Halo, don't you, Jesse?
My takes haven't changed on Halo. I've felt the same way about 343.
He's got to
get always been terrible.
He's going to get a beer.
Yeah, like I haven't changed my thoughts on 343 and Halo for years. My takes on Halo remain consistent throughout.
Terrible, like always. I will give you that. You are very consistent in how bad you are.
Where'd
Get
John
out of
go?
here, Sycamechanico. Go away.
Where'd John go?
He disconnected. I don't know why. Maybe his computer blew up again. Hey, he's back. But no camera. I can't put him in.
Okay.
You gotta raise up. Okay, he's back in.
Oh, they were so hardcore. I just couldn't take it. I just had to leave. No, that was really weird. Like my browser was just like, "Hey, I'm going to refresh." I was like, "Okay, thanks."
God, I'm thinking, where'd you go just then?
Gone. Not even a word. Anyway, you were saying,
like I said, I just, you know, the problem is right now you have two sides. So you have the disgruntled employees who've left, giving their account. You have people still at 343 giving their account. And I want to feel like the truth is somewhere in the middle.
I think
that's because the disgruntled employees are disgruntled. Like, I saw tweets from the gentleman who used to be the multiplayer lead, who's now at Respawn,
Patrick Wren,
basically saying, "Hey, the leadership at 343 is a mess."
Yeah.
Which, to be honest, it always appeared that way. It did always appear that way from the outside looking in. Like, leadership just maybe too many people with egos, maybe too many people thinking their way's the right way. It happens. It happens at companies. Like, it's not something unique to 343 and Halo or unique to video games. It's something that happens in a lot of big companies and organizations. I'm going through something very, very similar at work where I want to throttle everyone up above and throw them in the street. And so I can only assume that sort of stuff would happen at 343. It's one leader is like, no, this is where Halo should go. Then another is like, no, this is where Halo should go. And then there's everyone underneath that's like, oh my God, like, can you idiots just decide so that we can
go and build
get on with what we're doing, please?
Do you know what?
Like,
I don't. Wow, I feel weird saying this, but I don't really disagree with you, particularly on this point. I think, you know, you've seen Joe Staten come in, try and bring steer the ship back on course, get the game out the door, get it done, you know, get the following things done. It's in the point where all of the campaign stuff's done and dusted. You know, I saw Jez on the Xbox 2 saying the Endless was just a trademark. They just trademarked the name from the game of the Endless, the race. There was never really any single player DLC plan, yada, yada, yada. The team's now been stripped back. So all of the people that worked on campaigns seemingly have gone. We had the Bungie legend, Paul Bertone, who used to work on Halo 2. He joined 343 during the troubled period of getting the game back up to scratch. He's now left again. There's been people that I got to work with during a lot of the Forge stuff before it launched last year. There's a couple of guys that were fantastic people, and they're gone. It feels like, and we'll get to the Unreal stuff in a sec, right? But it feels to me a little bit like, okay, Pierre, the new studio head's like, get rid of all everything.
Yep.
I want just this live team, right? And I think this is an important distinction to make. People talk about, Halo Infinite's dead. They've got a core live team with all the right people to make maps and modes and equipment and guns and all the cool stuff to keep the live game as it exists right now going for however many years, right? 343 is not going anywhere. They put a statement out to that effect. But it feels a lot like it's clear house, small core, new team, or with some heads and whatever, redefine. What are we doing? Make all of those decisions. No more, we're going to go over this way. No, we're going to change our mind. Come back over here. And we're going to change our mind again. And leading to that kind of turbulent development is let's get it locked. Then we'll go out and staff up and do whatever we're going to do next. That's what it feels like to me. No idea if that's the case, right? That is my conjecture and speculation. But I think, you're kind of right in what you're saying there. It feels like they've got rid of all of the past and they're just, let's go forward. That's my take.
If it means that it's Pierre's way or the highway, I'm okay with that.
It's good to have someone that takes the shots. Like, this is how we're going to make
Pierre's
Halo.
vision. It'll be Pierre's vision, whether good, bad, or indifferent. And it's the one vision, and they're on that track, and they'll be done on that track come hell or high water. That's okay. That's fine. And if it ends up terrible, they'll replace Pierre with someone else, and it'll be their vision, whatever. But just have the one track that everyone's on, and that's it. Like, because again, the more stories you keep hearing come out, you're just like, what the hell was going on? Like, who was the actual head? Who was the leader?
And it blows my mind.
It sounds like there wasn't just one leader who had a say. It sounded like there were so many and no one could agree to what they wanted.
Like, and I think, there's people in the chat discussing it for all of the bitchy, whiny, toxic. And it doesn't go for every Halo YouTuber, but they know who they are. 343 have got to go. Halo Infinite's dead. You guys suck. Fire 343. All of that. You got what you wanted, guys. And now the tone is, they've ruined Halo. Pick a lane, people. Jesus Christ. Which side? You got what you wanted. You got the end result that you demanded. You got a new team. Pierre fixed MCC, which is now an incredible collection of incredibly well-made games, all stitched together, all flowing correctly. They listen to the fans. They keep adding new stuff. If that's the future,
is that what Pierre's role was? To fix
he was the
MCC?
lead on fixing MCC, if memory serves.
Well, then I'm glad he's now the lead on Halo, because again, all you can go on is results, can't you? So if his job before being head of 343 was, I'm the guy fixing MCC, MCC right now is literal perfection. So if that's because
you
of
actually
him,
agree with my score? I gave it a 10.
No.
You called it literal perfection. Fuck you. You can't take that.
So
Get
if he's the reason Master Chief Collection is what it is right now, which is an incredible package that would have saved Xbox One had it released in that shape back in 2014, that would have been a system seller had it released in that shape back in 2014.
Yeah.
If he's responsible for that, then it's safe to say that maybe he is the right person to quote-unquote fix Halo. Maybe he is the right guy. Because look at what he did with the Master Chief Collection.
He's got the cred, right? Now, here's the question. This is the big piece, right? Is all of the uproar and hoorah and what's going on with Unreal, Slipspace, Tatanka, blah, blah, blah. So last week, I think I spoke about this. I said, it looks like one of the lead, I think his title was lead engine developer or lead engine, whatever. He's not actually, so I need to issue a little bit of correction here. Did some further digging. He's not actually the lead. He's not the lead. So Slipspace is not necessarily out the door. Now, obviously, we've seen Jason's reporting about Unreal's one, and they're definitely switching over. I think, again, Nick, to coin your phrase, I think the truth of this lies somewhere in the middle.
Somewhere in the middle.
Tatanka is a key part of this. I do believe that this is a separate game. This is not an addition of a mode to
But there was rumors that Tatanka's dead now.
Yeah, I don't believe that's necessarily the case. We'll find out, right? My gut feel is that's what's being built on Unreal. That's what's leading to all the confusion. Let's just wait and see. And this is the worst part. Like, it's all fun for us to jump on a show and sit and chat and us to speculate about all of this. And we saw some of the pushback. I saw a lot of people, talking about the launch of the shadow drop of HiFi RUSH, about how great it was that it didn't get spoiled. And they are right to a degree. But the gaming culture is its own worst enemy. We get little nuggets, little bits and little pieces from one side.
Extrapolate.
The disgruntled employee over here, the remaining employee over there, and the story gets mishmashed together. Right. And that's not to disagree with Schreier's take or Schreier's reporting on things, right? He obviously has far better sources than I do. This is just my personal take, my interpretation of what I think is going on. But equally, it's kind of like we saw uproar in the news, and we'll get onto this tangent, but it's kind of tentatively linked to this. We talk about Tatanka isn't even a thing anymore. We shouldn't know about Tatanka. We can't get annoyed about something that's not been announced because it's just rumor and conjecture. The separate IP project from Coalition has been cancelled, right? Is one of the topics. Coalition in trouble, carnage. We shouldn't know about these things. We do, or we know bits of it.
It was never announced.
Right? You can't go declaring. Do you know how many game projects get cancelled? Thousands.
Yeah, heaps of them.
It's happening. It's all the time. But the problem becomes the culture around gaming is so desperate for info. Shows like ours, publications, they all want the cool info and goss. I find it hilarious when there are complaints about insider leaking, and yet every publication in the freaking universe is happy to report on it for clicks when someone else has done their job for them. That side of things leads to this narrative that forms where we are getting mad about shit we don't actually know exists. We shouldn't know exists. So you can't get as mad as you do. I'm on a bit of a rant this week. I'm sorry. I need to take some medicine or something.
But that's why. But that's why I love. I know the movie industry and the gaming industry aren't the same. But that's why I love. Look at James Gunn. He just put out a video and is like, "Hey, this is what I'm doing for the next 10 years in DCU." Okay, cool, and that's it. And everyone's just like, "Hey, that's awesome. That's great." I mean, some people were complaining because Henry Cavill's still gone and all that sort of stuff. But he just went out and laid out the plan. And you know what? Maybe some of that will change. Maybe it won't. That's okay. We're all grown adults here.
And man, there's so many things we want to rant about. Unreal, the switch to Unreal. This whole thank goodness they're doing that. Slipspace is a garbage engine, blah, 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 blah. Hold on. Unreal 5 has only just got the segmentation of zones for loading open world areas, which is something like Bethesda's creation engine has had since Oblivion or beyond, like New Vegas 2, whatever. It's not the best at open world. Halo does very specific things in a very specific way with physics and AI and loading in areas seamlessly, very, very quickly. Now, Unreal is catching up. That's not that's nothing I deny there. But the fact that armchair developers are just like, it should be an easy switch. Like, there's arguments for switching to Unreal, right? There's arguments to say...
A lot of arguments.
A lot of them are contractors based, I feel. Like, it's a lot easier. We saw Patrick Wren, the same senior ex-lead from 343, multiplayer designer. He was like, standing someone up on Slipspace took 6 months to train them. 6 months to get them on top of speed. By that, they're a year in. They've got 8 months left on their contract and they're out again. And we've got to repeat that process,
That's right.
Unreal industry knowledge is pervasive, right? It's an engine that lots and lots and lots of resources and developers know. I see the arguments, but people that are just sitting there super simple, man. It's no worries. It's just an easy switch.
It's not simple, but it does make sense to do it. Because, to me, it's one of two things. if you're going to stick to this contractor thing, which people keep telling them don't do it or it's not good or whatever, if they're going to stick to their guns with the contractor thing, then a switch to Unreal makes sense. Because then when you contract someone who's already got Unreal experience, you're not teaching them an engine. They just come in and they're ready to go day one.
Sure.
To start pumping out content.
But I would say to you that any developer that's using Unreal to do very specific things, and to say that they could tweak the existing Unreal Engine 5, as an example, to do the things that they want or have Slipspace doing right now, would mean a very separate branch of Unreal that starts to go off in its world. Like the Coalition has a very unique branch. Like, you know, Jesse.
But they have the Coalition as a support.
They have the Coalition, but you know that it is similar. I think we're talking tools here now. What they need to do, in my opinion, if they're going to keep Slipspace, is to get the tools to a point where resources and learning and engine knowledge is easily consumable and findable instead of like mishmashing your way through. But this is what I mean. This is all conjecture based off one article and shed ton of rumors. I'm personally of the mindset like Halo Infinite is out. It's got a full live team behind it, supporting tons of content for the game. Let's just see what happens. If a new Halo gets announced and it's running on Unreal and it looks great, great. If it's not running on Unreal and it looks great and it's running on Slipspace, great. And contractors, everyone uses contractors. Every developer has thousands of support studios. Like for the big AAA games, they use support studios, they use contractors. They're not going to go away. Like, it's not a case of, no, we're not going to use them anymore. It's just always going to be a thing.
No, I know. But like, you brought up how Unreal's not great with open world. Okay, next question. Why does the next Halo have to be open world? Does it have to be? Is there some sort of binding contract where it has to be open world?
No, but I would say that Halo's play spaces are far wider and broader than most traditional.
Yeah, that's fine. Counterpoint. Jesse himself last week said that the Coalition did really smart things with Unreal 4 and Gears 5.
Yep.
So if you think about Halo CE and you think about Gears 5, you don't think there are similarities in the way those worlds were structured?
Yes and no.
Similarities. Don't scrunch up faces and say, "Oh my god, you're calling them the same game."
No.
I'm saying are there not similarities in the way their worlds were structured? So Halo CE had like the big open spaces, and then you'd go through a tunnel that might lead you to inside a Forerunner structure, but then you could come back out to where you were again. And Gears 5 has a similar structure where there's the big open world where you got your skiff, you go through some tunnel, and then you go to this next area. There's similarities in that structure. So Unreal still has the ability, and I'm sure Unreal 5 is probably a little bit further progressed than 4. Unreal 5 as it is, I'm sure could still produce a semi-open Halo game that would also look fantastic, better than what Infinite currently does. And Infinite's not an ugly game by any stretch, but I'm sure Unreal could probably produce something that looks a bit flashier and a bit more media friendly. You know what the media looks like. They look for like, oh my god.
I mean, I've said it myself, right? The big problem I have with current Halo is that, in my humble opinion, it is the IP that should drive the feature set and the technology of the platform forward, and it hasn't done that for a long time. Right? That's. I'm not going to change that opinion. The similarities between Gears 5 and something like Halo CE, even Halo CE, you could come into that wide open area and there'd be enemies reacting to other enemies and doing all those things. I would say that
brilliant AI.
All of the Gears 5 open sections, no AI, and they wouldn't start doing stuff until you passed a threshold.
Until you got there.
Right. And that is, again, these are feature sets of the very modified Blam engine, the Slipspace engine, that have been considered because they are part of Halo's core. This is the thing. I am an armchair developer. I don't know shit, right? I shouldn't be commenting on this, but we all have to do it. We all have an opinion. This is the stuff.
Okay. Next question. Next question, because there's a topic to discuss here, and it'd be awesome if we had someone on from within the industry that knows a lot better than we do. Like, so Call of Duty runs on its own proprietary engine, which, like a Blam, is a heavily evolved
Quake engine. Yeah, absolutely right.
So is the problem that 343 needs a bit better engine people? Is that the issue? They need people that can make slip space better than what it is right now.
Tools, not a swap out. That's what I think is really the requirement.
Because we know that Call of Duty requires thousands upon thousands to make it each year.
Yep, contractors.
Are they using external contractors, or is it just because all hands on deck from Activision? Toys for Bob is on it. Raven's on it.
Yeah.
All these studios are on it. But it's all their own internal studios at ABK.
There's still contractors. There's still a lot of contractors.
Okay, so then why don't we hear about problems there with contractors?
Narratives.
It's a custom engine.
Yeah, it is. It is. But it's obviously the tools are so refined. It's very easy to onboard people. They were building a lot of this stuff
where the problem
while
is.
developing a game. Yeah, I think that's something somewhere there.
Even with Call of Duty, they gave up having multiple engines and now all moved over to Infinity Ward's version.
Yeah, Infinity Ward's engine.
Yeah,
this is what I'm saying. Like, there's an interesting discussion to be had, and it'd be nice to have someone, whether it's a former 343 employee, whether it's someone at some other studio that knows about this stuff. It'd be really interesting to hear about this stuff. Like, because again, Call of Duty and Halo is a perfect comparison because Call of Duty supplanted Halo as the king of console first-person shooters.
Yeah.
Also on a custom engine. And it's made yearly. Halo's once every 5 years. Call of Duty is every year.
But you see those engine refinements come in over and over. It gets better and better every year because they're constant. That engine team is probably constantly looking at it across multiple teams. I mean, I think I have to agree with Abdul114 in the chat. It's not a super chat, but I like the phrase. I don't play game engines. I play games. Engines are not my problem.
No, I understand all those arguments.
But we're having the conversation, right?
I don't disagree with Jesse. I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree. I liked Halo Infinite just fine.
Yes,
I liked it just fine. I enjoyed the campaign. It was one of my favorite Halo campaigns. I loved Infinite. But I also understand why it's viewed the way it's viewed because I understand the video game market these days. Unfortunately, the video game world we live in now is that your game, if it's AAA, it has to be the greatest looking thing in the history of video games.
Yeah.
And it has to have all the latest tech in it. And it has to... It sucks. Don't get me wrong. It sucks. Because I love how HiFi RUSH looks, and I just wish most games looked like that.
Yeah.
But that's just not the world we live in, unfortunately. And Halo, whether we like it or not, it unfairly had a responsibility where it needed to be apparently the best looking thing ever.
And this was the narrative in the media. It has to be. It has
that's
to
right.
be. That's
right. That's what I'm saying. And that's why I'm like, and if Slipspace can't do that for whatever reason... So they have to decide, what do they care about more? Do they care about the media gushing over Halo? Do they care about OG Halo fans caring about how it feels? Who do they care about? 343 needs to decide. Credit where credit is due for Halo 4. With Halo 4, they said, nah, this is we're going all in on how this game looks.
Yeah.
And guess what? Halo 4 to this day is one of the most stunning games you've ever seen. Like in the Master Chief Collection at 1080 or 4K 60, it looks unbelievable.
It's gorgeous. But
sacrifices were made.
Yeah.
The AI is not as good.
Yeah.
The levels aren't as open.
Correct.
Much more linear. And that's what happens. Like
lots of go here, push button.
Yeah.
The emerging gameplay of it is lost.
That's right. So within the Blam engine, that means that the Blam engine is capable of industry-leading visuals, but sacrifices have to be made to get them.
Yeah.
So they have to decide where's the balance that we're going to strike. Are we going to put all our resources into making this Frankenstein Blam engine something that could do everything for the future? Or there's just, I don't know. And hopefully Pierre makes those calls, and good luck to him. But they've got to decide. Like,
well,
they
according
have
to
to
Jason
decide
Schreier,
what they
they
care
have made
about.
the decision, and Unreal apparently
You
is
know,
one out.
they didn't. That article doesn't actually say that. The article
What does it
says
say?
the article says they chose Unreal for Tatanka, and they'll look into it for future Halo titles. Like that's the
Interesting.
quote. They're looking into
Interesting.
it. Like
It's
they
not
always are.
confirmed that they're actually switching to Unreal.
But everyone just acted like it was.
Yeah. Okay, that's
Yeah.
good. Well,
But also,
I
like,
reckon that,
constantly bringing up Call of Duty. The actual reality around Modern Warfare 2 and especially Warzone 2 has been very negative. Like, there's been a lot of issues with that game. So even with 40-ish teams and 3,000 to 4,000 people working on it and taking years in between for each dev, that game is a constant tire fire. So
yeah, and this is the thing that
Yeah,
the
but you know
unfortunate
why
thing for
that's
Halo is
overlooked?
there's a big narrative against it all the time.
Yeah, that's right. And do you know why the Call of Duty stuff's overlooked? Because it's Call of Duty and it sells 1 billion copies and makes gajillions of dollars each year.
Yeah,
So it's overlooked. I'm not saying I agree with that, Jesse. I'm not saying that's my opinion or I agree with it or whatever. I'm just explaining the reality of the situation. That stuff gets overlooked because it is what it is. Halo has an unfair
expectation
pressure on
put
it,
upon it,
and an expectation on it where everything in it has to be the best of the best of the best of the best.
Sure.
And I do think from what we've seen lately from Xbox first party and Bethesda and all that is they're just going to give things time now. I don't think they want any more repeats. Like Starfield would have been out last year if Bethesda wasn't owned. That game would have come out. And instead they're like, no, just take your time. I want it to be perfect. And I think Halo and even Forza Horizon 5 server issues are things that, because at launch, Forza Horizon 5 servers, I played it for a week for review and it was great. And then the game actually released and the server sucked for 2 months. And things like that, I think they really want to avoid. I think Phil's made it very clear he wants things to launch like HiFi RUSH did, like Pentiment did, like Grounded did. Like those games all launched rock solid. And so I think they're just in the mind of, I'm just saying they're going to give Halo time for once, where I don't think it's going to be even like Halo Infinite, where they really only worked on it for a couple years, even though there was all that time in between because management was trying to figure out what's this going to be. And then the 2020 demo hits and it doesn't look anything like we were told that it was going to look like. And I think that they want solid plans from a leader like Pierre, who's got a vision. We're going to stick to that. We're going to let leaders make things, and they're only going to step in when a studio is having issues, like they did at Undead Labs. Like we found out, like, oh, there's shit going down at Undead Labs. We are going to step in and fix it. That's when they'll get hands on.
Yeah.
It sounds like Pierre's going to make it his own. Where it didn't sound like that was happening before. It didn't sound like there was someone taking the reins and going, nope, this is my Halo. Yeah. It sounded like, this person, but now this person left, and
they
now
wanted
this
that.
Sort of
they
doing
wanted the culture of people disagreeing with each other to try and push back and forth for a while, and that just didn't.
Clearly, that doesn't work.
And if you see the people that have been elevated recently are a lot of the MCC team that were working with Pierre.
Yeah, and it's interesting.
Like, have you noticed something? And again, this is all surface stuff. Yeah. Look at Microsoft's franchises and look at Sony's franchises. You'll notice that with Sony's franchises and their studios, there's a figurehead.
Yeah.
Now that person might not be the
star.
Yep. They may not technically be. So for Naughty Dog, Neil Druckmann. So in everyone's eyes, like it's all Neil Druckmann's. For Santa Monica, it's all Corey's. Corey's the man. For Turn 10, it's Dan.
Yeah, Dan Greenwald.
It was always Dan. And isn't Forza always a brilliant product? Yes. Yep. Are you seeing the links here? But then you look at like Gears until Rod never had that figurehead.
Yeah.
Halo. Oh yeah, is it Bonnie? Is it Chris Lee? Is it Frank? Is it Kiki? Who is it? Which one of them is it?
Interestingly enough, on that subject, Kiki Wolfkill no longer it appears at 343 according to her profile. She's just somewhere else in Microsoft's creative division. Same for Frank O'Connor.
The old upgrade. She's now doing the similar job, but for the entirety of the
creative director at Microsoft, right? So
transmedia, yeah.
It sounds to me like you're good, but let's pull back, and there's a part of me as a Halo fan that's like all of the John is a human with feelings, and he's a real person.
No,
yeah. I'm like,
John's
no, he's
a
a
kick-ass
badass.
Spartan.
He's a badass. All right.
Let him just kick everyone's ass, man. Let him just kick everyone's ass. It's okay. That's fine.
I think his portrayal in Infinite was he kicks everyone's ass, but he also there is
don't get me wrong. I liked the writing in Infinite,
and also I do have to say the one thing before I forget it, Nick. You're saying who was Gears before Rod, and it was the rockstar Cliff Bleszinski. That was Gears.
I'm talking about when Coalition took over.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know that actually you're proving my point because that's when Gears was considered great.
People in the industry
Cliff.
actually hate the Rockstar lead thing, and they're like, these games are so big. The Rockstar game,
but that's what I'm saying. And now I'm noticing in the chat, everyone's like Cliff, but that was before Microsoft owned it. Since Microsoft bought Gears, who was the Cliff? There was no one until Rod came along, and then Rod left to go to Blizzard.
But right. He's
look at
when 6 months.
Wouldn't you argue that Gears was considered great when it was Cliff and it was Gears 1, 2, 3? How many argue that the original Gears trilogy is not the best part of Gears? No one.
Me. I just played.
So you're all
just
literally proving my point when you say ha Cliff. Yeah, you're proving my point. So when Gears had its Rockstar, that's when Gears was the best.
I think Elinari will stab you in the heart for bringing up that's the one thing. People in the industry hate the Rockstar leader thing.
I know. I'm not saying I love them. I'm making an observation about have a look. Like, look at the links. Naughty Dog is seen as the greatest, and their games are seen as the greatest. I'm not saying I think they are. They have their Rockstar, Neil Druckmann, to the point where he's credited basically for the TV show. He's such a rockstar.
There were other writers that were then not credited.
Santa Monica has Corey, and God of War is transformative. Like, this is what I'm saying. Look, there's a pattern. I know the industry hates Rockstars. I understand developers hate Rockstars. Of course they would, because there's this one person taking credit for all their work. So I understand.
I get what you mean. You're trying to make the correlation between Rockstars being a leader to the company and then driving the creative vision, right? But I think the reality is the Rockstar thing is who's going to be the spokesperson for the business online. It's a social thing. It's a conversation with the community type thing. And unfortunately, again, the tendency for gamers, particularly if you're in a cult, is to elevate these spokespeople to godlike status unnecessarily, forgetting the fact that thousands of people are on.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you, Mort. Kojima. Oh, Kojima.
Yeah, I know.
It's a Kojima game. Oh my God, Kojima. But let's ignore the fact that it wasn't Kojima that built Fox Engine and made Metal Gear Solid feel like this super tight, beautiful game to play. It wasn't Kojima doing that. It was the guys that built the Fox Engine. Kojima was just sitting there drinking his whatevers. And
he's an idea man. He's got
that's right. Like
terrible ideas.
Mort is a perfect example of what I'm talking. Like, this is what I'm saying. Like, there is a link. Rightly or wrongly, there seems to be a link between studios and games having their Rockstar and those games being good and considered good. There appears to be a link. Like, even Kamiya, who's a dickhead, he is that Rockstar of Platinum, and there's still people still fawn for Platinum, despite him. Like, I don't get it. Again, I'm not saying I agree. I'm not saying, but there appears to be a link. And 343 has never had their Rockstar.
Yeah, they had Joe Staten for a while. But
Bungie had Staten, remember?
Yeah,
Bungie it was Staten. And that's when Halo was considered great.
I think
Bungie had Staten.
We could go down a million rabbit holes, but my reality is I'm looking at on topics list, and we are down on number 3 out of like. I know, but like
things. Once I start to, like what happens when we have this show is there's stuff that I remember to say after we've gone off air, and it happens to me all the time, and I'm remembering this stuff, so that's why I'm saying it. Like,
well,
I hope Pierre is 343's Rockstar. I hope that's what he is. And I hope he grabs everyone by the scruff of the neck and says, we're doing it my way. Whether that's the right way or not, we'll find out. But this is the way we are doing it.
Yeah.
I hope, even if it turns out bad, at least they'll have their vision and they'll see it through.
Here's what I want.
I'll give the benefit of the doubt because Master Chief Collection is amazing. So I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt.
You called it
Fine.
literal perfection. You agree with my 10.
10 out of 10.
It is a literal perfection package, as a piece of software.
It's a 10 out of 10. That's why I gave it to it.
It is very well put together, and
It's your
a
only
very
other 10
nice
out of 10
game.
besides Mario Odyssey. I get it. I'll agree with
So
that.
look, here's the thing, and I hate to do this. I hate to promote a Jez Corden take, but he said on Twitter last week, and I'll paraphrase it because I can't remember the exact wording for the tweet, but I really agree with it, and I feel a similar way about, to a degree, the Star Wars IP, and that is Halo fans, me, 16 years old when the game came out, 38 now.
God, I was 21.
I've grown up, right? I've grown up, and I want to see a mature, adult, M-rated
You want
Halo
to see
game.
Master Chief have sex with a hot blonde lady?
No. It's nothing like that. I want to see, and I talked about that. Like, I often thought about how wicked a Battlefield Halo crossover game would be. Like, partner with EA. Now, listen. Hear me out. The plasma rifles come through, and instead of it just going pew pew pew, do, it like
You want that episode
melts
5.
all the rocks, and people like Marines are like, they're all just disintegrated. Like,
You want to see
bring that-
teenagers blow up like they did in the show? from
like
that
they did in the
weaponry?
show. Like, bring the threat level out of the cartoon and
Like
out
it's
of the
survival
joking.
horror.
No, just
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Just
grow up a little bit with the franchise. Try not look. The reality is, Halo is not this huge, popular arena shooters are a niche now to a degree, right? Halo's still great and fun. Jumped on BTB with friends the other week, had an absolute blast, right? But I recognize the differences between something very quick, twitchy, and immediate, like Call of Duty or whatever, right? You're never going to get as big as Call of Duty again. So what do? Well, you look at your fan base, who are all, I think, there's probably kids that are into Halo, but I think the majority are more adult, and you M-rate that game up, and you bring it to grow up with the fans and try something like super, like, think about how dark the reality of the Halo universe is. Hey, we kidnap kids, replace them with clones that die after a couple of years from terminal illnesses, trained them and genetically engineered on them without their, permission, and then force them to go fight other humans and aliens. And
that's
shit.
why the TV show was so really focused on that, because when you actually think about it, it's real messed up.
It's real messed up, but bring that, bring
like,
it all into the game. I want to see it get mature and grow up.
Into a
with me.
spin-off.
Will that add to the game?
It would allow for more interesting design opportunities, I think. Because at the moment, here's the problem, Nick. Everyone wants Halo to be like Halo was. Go do something different. Grow up with the rest of us and give us a Halo game. Like how I want Star Wars. Star Wars is for kids. It was for kids when I was a kid. Growing up, it was for kids. It's a fairy tale.
I disagree.
But if you look at Andor, look how popular Andor has been, because it grew up with its audience.
It actually didn't do that great viewership wise, unfortunately.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, but
I have no interest
this is
in
what I
watching
mean.
It was
Anyway,
I
let's close out
disagree.
Halo talk.
I think it's more go the Mandalorian route. Like, no, you haven't even heard what I'm about to say.
I know your opinions, though. I know
Mandalorian is popular. The main reason Mandalorian is popular is because it's simple. It's this cool looking bounty hunter who just goes around doing cool missions with a cute Yoda baby.
Yeah.
So simple, and everyone just loves it.
Halo
Infinite.
and babysitting.
Halo Infinite. I'm not saying that's like the right. Halo doesn't need to grow up. I don't think adding gore to Halo is suddenly going to make Halo better.
I didn't say gore. I just said
you guys were talking about blowing things up.
No, but replicate. Like, think about like when I talk about the Battlefield crossover. Think about what the Covenant used to represent in the books in the media. Outside of the games on the battlefield, they come in, they literally glass entire worlds. We always lost in space. It was horrific and horrible, and we never see that really.
But I don't think that'll add anything to the game. I don't think that'll add anything to the game. See, like, if you look at Halo Infinite now, all of a sudden I'm seeing all these people slowly starting to shit on the campaign now too.
Yeah,
and
I disagree with that. I like the campaign a lot.
And if you look at the same, all the comments I see are around the graphics. I still reckon had they managed to make Halo Infinite a genuinely stunning looking, industry-leading visual game, the conversation around Halo Infinite would be very different right now. For something as simple as just improving the graphics. Because no one would argue the core gameplay is not amazing. Like, to me, it's like The Mandalorian. It's so much simpler. Had Halo Infinite just been a better looking game, and maybe had a bit more variety in the world, the conversation around its campaign would be completely different now.
Yeah.
And it would be getting the praise it deserves.
If you want to see it,
I think it was a great campaign.
It was, but equally, the things that bug me about it are just, and I've said this before, and I really want to, well, I know we need to move on from Halo, right? There was the You Had Me at Halo podcast yesterday. There's more, perhaps less vitriolic takes over on the channel. Feel free to go check that out. But Halo's worth and you know what it means to so many different fans, and it's changed so much. And when I think about what was good about Halo Infinite, the moment-to-moment gameplay, the way it felt, you know, some of the combat scenarios were really, really cool, but it didn't have the kind of stuff that 2007 Halo 3 had, where the Scarab comes over the mountain and I'm like, oh my God. Oh, I get to decide whether to blow the legs out or climb up on top of it or do something cool. It was, aside from the fact it had gone open world, remarkably unambitious. You know, and I don't mean that in a cruel way to any of the development team. It was remarkably
that might be the
safe.
open world sacrifice. Maybe that's the open world sacrifice.
But I miss those
what we were going back to earlier
moments. But yeah.
You get rid of Xbox One, they could have done it in that case.
I reckon, yeah, you're absolutely on the money. If Xbox One had gone in the bin, as it should have done, Nick, you were right. It should have been chucked in the bin.
Are you saying you guys agree now that Xbox One should have been ditched?
I'm so happy with the game. I don't have the same concern.
Like, I think we would have had...
Come on.
The developers would have had a better opportunity to leverage the
Didn't
Series
take a
X.
genius to realize that stupid console should have been ditched very, very early in development. Come on.
Equally, I dread the player numbers if it was just on Series consoles. Like right now, it's in a real... It feels like when you're trying to search...
But how many Xbox One owners do you actually think are playing Halo Infinite?
No idea. I have no way to know.
The best way to know is loading time and matchmaking. If you see more than one camera intro, or if you see you load and then you're just waiting for other players, there's an Xbox One player in the room. And I see that a lot. So, yeah, I think there's plenty of people playing on the Xbox.
The console should have been ditched. Because you know what? I've played Halo Infinite on a 1S via cloud streaming. Plays just fine.
Yeah,
plays just fine.
Should have been there as a cloud only. Anyway, look, that's enough Halo talk. I'm very tired of it now. There was a whole saga this week. And I have to read out there was a super chat from Gordon who said, hey, can I call in for 5 minutes? We said no, but thanks for the money. Type what you want to say, Gordon, and if I'm quick, if you're quick,
I call in
something about $300 billion. I don't know.
It's $300 million sitting in a ditch that's costing Microsoft money. I don't know what that... Yeah, you have to be a bit more specific, Gordon. But I can't really get into too much because I don't understand what you mean. Anyway, in the news this week, a whole bunch of BC games were delisted. Then the 360 marketplace was shutting down. Then it wasn't shutting down.
And it wasn't shutting down.
What's going on here?
I think it is shutting down later. Like, I'm sorry, but this is like the Netflix password sharing. You don't just accidentally say this thing is happening. You don't.
They didn't
like
actually.
Someone.
So there's a difference because they didn't put out an article. It was only able to be seen if you searched for a specific term, and then it showed up in a preview pane. But if you click that article, it's just the one about the 47 games being delisted.
Okay, that's fine. That's okay. I'm not debating that part of it. Someone had to type out those words. Someone's job was to type out the words, the Xbox 360 marketplace is shutting down. They would not have been given that job to do if the plans weren't there for it to happen. That's not how those things work. Some intern didn't just come along and go, 360 marketplace shutting down, and hit it in there. Like, clearly there is so the idea was, I think, they've announced these games which are going to be delisted, which I still find that list bizarre because there's literal first-party games on there. They're delisting
Those
a
ones
whole
are
bunch of
available
games.
on the news store, so maybe it's just
Yes,
not worth...
but you just can't buy a lot of them on the news store.
Yeah, the first party ones you can buy.
And I think the plan was ease the outrage rather than cop it all in one hit. They were like, we'll start with the delisting, then we'll do another bunch of delistings, then another bunch of delistings.
This is going to put them. This will put them over 500 games delisted on the 360 marketplace. They've already done a ton.
Yeah,
they've been doing it for a while.
I reckon the plan will still be
and
to shut it down. I still think the plan will be to shut it down by the end of the year.
Well, they also have they have the constant problem where things go missing, and a lot of times, like when we talk to Eden and stuff, it seems to have been about trying to keep the 360 marketplace working. Like that,
I said myself, I'm sure it's a tech problem. It wouldn't be like licensing. I reckon it'd be a tech issue, like holding onto this store, like just grabbing onto it and having to support it. It would be probably more work than it's worth. Like, I'm one of the only people I know that still has a 360 set up that buys stuff on the 360 store and all that sort of stuff.
Really?
Yeah, I just bought the 2 Left 4 Deads in the orange box because as soon as they said they were delisting them on the 360, I jumped onto my 360 and bought the 3 games. Like, I still have a 360 set up.
They would make all of them purchasable on the news store, but that's a licensing thing most likely.
Yeah, I think that's the reality.
Don't you find it weird? Don't you find it weird that I can go onto an Xbox 360 or the old web store and buy Daytona USA, but I can't go onto the new store and buy Daytona USA?
Because they have to get the licensing to allow them to sell it on a different store. They have the right to sell it on the 360 marketplace, but that does not. That's why you can't play your games on the cloud. We buy a license to play them on our local hardware. If they're going to play it on their cloud hardware, that's not the license we have.
Yeah.
So they have to work with every company to get that, and that's why it hasn't happened.
Takes so long to come through.
Everyone wants their cut, and sometimes you can't even find the person to get the cut to.
Yeah.
They don't exist
anymore.
It's
just disappointing.
It's just reality, unfortunately. Like, I know a lot of people care about video game preservation, and I wouldn't say I don't care about it, but for me, I very rarely, very, very rarely go back and play old stuff, especially single player stuff, unless it was something. But
everyone keeps saying that, and I still don't find that that's an excuse, though. I still don't.
I'm not saying it's an excuse. I'm just talking personally from my perspective.
Why we don't care.
It's not a thing that bothers me personally. I'm never going to go and play. I already own it, so I can always download it. But I'm never going to go, that game from 12 billion years ago I heard was good and I never tried it. I'll go play it. I'll just be like, I missed the boat, whatevs. I'll just move on with my life. Or buy it on PC.
I think most people have given in that PC preservation is the only way anything is going to last. Like preserving consoles, that boat has sailed. You can't do it unless you can hack them like Nintendo's or stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because I do go back and play old games that it bothers me. I still go back and
with everything coming out on PC, I think it does help a lot because, like, even Redfall being always online, someone will hack a way to play that offline on PC in the future if they need to.
Well, the point of this segment of the show is, I follow my Twitter account. My Twitter account is there. Wait, am I pointing in the right spot? There.
Pretty much, yeah.
I tweeted out the link to Daytona USA on the old marketplace. You have till when? Feb something?
A few more days.
You've got a few more days. Buy Daytona. It's cheap. Go and buy Daytona USA before it's gone because it's the greatest arcade racer of all time and it's the only way you're going to get an arcade perfect port in widescreen at home. It's the only way.
Unless you know how to use a PC. Also, it's not.
Who wants to deal with that crap? Just go buy Daytona USA.
No.
Before it's gone.
Absolutely not.
Yeah. So it's like $10 Australian. It's like nothing.
It's not my kind of game, man.
Anyway.
But yes.
Speaking of Redfall, should we talk about Redfall?
I mean, what do you want to talk about?
I don't know. Do we talk about the fact that people still worry about online in 2023?
I could go on all day without talking about that. Lots of uproar that Redfall is going to be an always online game.
Okay.
I am always online. I don't care.
Even when
I get
this
it's
gets
bad
announced,
for the future. I know like MVG and them are like it's very bad for preserving it far in the future, but at the same point, if they can do what Knockout City is doing, and they are patching in an offline version for the PC that preserves it, you can play it forever offline on PC and whatnot. Like if they can just do that, I think it's fine.
Yeah, it's such a non like.
to me anyway. I understand why some people get upset about it, but it's something I haven't cared about in a decade. When they told us in 2013, you might have to check in, I'll be like, okay. All right. Okay.
Here's the thing, though. The reality is there was a design decision made at some point that meant the game always had to be online, right? Maybe, and we don't know this yet because it's, they talk about how it's an immersive world and it always changes, right? Maybe they plan on some forms of live events that they want to constantly update the game with. No one complains that Destiny 1 is an online game or Destiny 2 is an online game. Do you complain about that? No, because it's the understood part of the game. The problem people have is that Arcane have said you can play this in single player, but then have said, but it's an always online game. That's because they want to change things up, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe that's part of the design.
Can't you play Destiny in single player? Can't you play Destiny in single player?
Without being online.
Most of the
but
way
you can
I
play
played
single
player.
player.
Well,
you can play
Destiny 2, they removed the single player campaign entirely, so no.
Well, they removed the original campaign, but there are still they put in new ones every time. And you can play those single player.
I don't know. I just feel like it's. I feel like it's. I don't know. I think people just had this idea in their head, maybe about Redfall, and they just assumed like Arcane's other games, it would be this self-contained game. I guess maybe.
But this is Arcane's first multiplayer game. So
I don't know. I can't. Whenever I hear like I remember even Gran Turismo 7. There was a bit of controversy because Gran Turismo 7 was going to be always online. And I was just like, okay, is that such a surprise?
Like they do their car marketplace where they update the prices based on the real world currencies.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying, like whenever I hear always online and I see people get full on upset about it, and it's like, man, it's like a time warp to 2013.
It is a bit.
Like, how are we still that...
It's just.
I mean, you need to be online for your Game Pass sub for Redfall to work. If you're getting it via Game Pass, like I don't know. It seems like one of the weirdest things to still be upset about these days. Like I just
don't get the genuine furor about it. But whatever. I did see, and I just saw it mentioned in the chat, it's not in our show notes, but Crossfire X, the wonderful Xbox exclusive that Remedy partners
It is in
with.
our notes.
Oh,
it is in our notes because there's a whole bunch. This week it just went off the charts because Redfall being always online kind of relates to this, and Jesse mentioned Knockout City. So the free-to-play apocalypse happened this week, and a whole bunch of games have been announced to be shutting down soon. Yeah. And I guess this is what people get upset about because these games eventually get shut down. Like
they're even taking they are taking away the single player campaigns for Crossfire. They just
for Crossfire.
Yeah, you can and even if you've bought it, you can't access it anymore after May 27th.
Really?
Yep, that's the worst one with that one. The others are doing what they can. But yeah, that's the bad
pretty
one.
That's a bit
That's
rat.
No bueno.
Yeah, that's a bit rat. If they're saying like most of these other games, they're like, okay, which one was it? They said you're going to get refunds for it. Rumbleverse.
Yeah.
Rumbleverse was like, if you've bought anything, we'll give you your money back. No worries.
In the last few weeks.
That's the right way to do it.
Yeah, Stadia did some good stuff with that as well.
Yes, if you've bought a single player game, and then they're like,
because did you ever play Crossfire X, Nick? Because the way that launcher is, you're loading the multiplayer client, and then the single player campaigns are within that client, and it seems like they're just completely cutting. They're complete, but that client is like, they're cutting that client completely, and so like those games you can't get into the actual game without the multiplayer.
As if you don't patch it, as if you don't find a way to patch it to leave that single player thing on its own.
absolute piss take out of your community and your customers.
And, yeah, it's just I don't know. And that was Remedy, yeah. That single player.
Yep, contracted to build it, and it wasn't great as it is.
I don't know. Like, I put out a tweet on this topic, and the responses were, let's just say, mixed. And I don't know why people were getting upset because, again, I was right. I know people don't like it, but like, if you're launching if you're a studio and you're like, we have a cool idea for a free-to-play game. We think this game's going to be amazing. Understand that you're entering arguably the most competitive segment of the video game market there is, and you're going up against heavy hitters: Fortnite, Warzone, PUBG, Rocket League, Valorant. Like, you're going up against immovable objects.
Yep.
That's the reality of the world you are in. So, why, if you're making a free-to-play game, why would you not, as a fallback, just in case you don't carve yourself a nice little niche in that market, because the likelihood is that you're not going to. Oh, Apex, yes, thank you, Revived saying. Apex as well. The likelihood is that you're probably not going to carve yourself out a niche in that market. That's the likelihood. Bots, put bots in your game and let people play against bots offline. And make sure there's peer-to-peer fallback. That's all.
Sometimes it's out of budget. But look, I
just
get
those
your
two
point.
things.
I get your point.
Like, because
I think, again, though, man, and to give Token Aussie his credit, because he really wanted this to be the title of the podcast this week, was live service games are running out of gas.
Actually, just running out of gas would have been good. Running out of GaaS.
Yeah.
Running out of gas. Yeah, that's a good one.
It was good. It was good. So I know he was very excited to see that, that joke come to life. So, but I think I've said this before on the show, right? Like this weird mentality for big publishers, and I'm glad, in a way, I don't wish anyone to like lose their jobs or not make money, especially indie developers that try this stuff. But in a way, this dearth of you must play this game once a week and log into it like a job, and I don't mind live service games, but don't make it the be all and end all of my fucking existence. And if you're gonna try, you better come to the table with something absolutely stunningly brilliant. Because like you said, Nick, you're going up against ones that have already got that foothold in people's lives. The new battle pass is out for Fortnite. Better go knock that out. It's out for Rocket League. It's Wednesday night. I'll do that one this week. And that's how people play now. And that is in some ways really depresses me. Like I'm glad I've got to the point, like Halo Infinite is probably the only live service game I play, and let's be honest, it's not been the best example of a live service game. It's definitely run out of gas several times, and they've had to pull over on the side of the road and fix the engine. But I'm glad I've been able to disconnect, because I see the weekly and it's like, it's a skin, and I'm like, I'm never going to wear it. I like how my Spartan looks. Moving on.
And that's the thing, isn't it?
Yeah. So I can just ignore it.
And it's a shame, because Knockout City's fun.
Yeah,
Knockout City.
I think we reviewed it, didn't we, Jesse?
Yes.
Yeah, I think we did. But Knockout City had the issue where it wasn't free to play at the beginning.
Yeah,
no,
it was the weird one. It was the weird one.
It should have come out free to play, and it didn't. But Knockout City was like the first games as a service game to actually legitimately take some of my time away from Rocket League and Fortnite. Like, I played a decent amount of Knockout City. It was kind of fun. Made by the devs who made Mario Kart Live. Same developer. But again, just, there's nothing wrong with peer-to-peer.
Nick,
peer-to-peer still has a place. It still has a place.
Do me a favour. I did send you a couple of messages, but your mic's been popping pretty.
Is it doing it again?
It's been doing it for like 45 minutes. So I don't know if you want to turn your gain down just a bit.
I don't know how to do it.
Just a teeny bit.
The unfortunate reality in the end for all of this is that free to play is so much bigger than paid gaming that it's not going anywhere.
Yeah, that is the reality. So there's always going to be someone trying to be the next Fortnite, trying to be the next big thing.
Now I think battle royales are slowing down significantly, but
yeah, I'm waiting for the next type of game to come, I think, but we'll see what that's going to be. Oh,
Yeah.
Wow, this is going to be a long show today.
It's just, yeah. I don't know. I still think there's a. Am I popping?
No, you're much better.
I still think there's a place for peer-to-peer. I don't know why. I know we've become accustomed to servers, but I don't see, like, do you guys remember Timeshift?
Yeah.
Timeshift did it right.
Raven?
No.
Hang on. No. Yeah, it's Saber. Sorry. Yeah, you're right. I was thinking of that other time one. Singularity, I think I was thinking of.
And Timeshift even has an achievement for this. In Timeshift, you could use your console as a multiplayer server.
Yeah, Rainbow Six back in the day used to do that as well.
There was an achievement where if you set your console as a server for 10 hours, you got an achievement for it. And people could play peer-to-peer based on your console being the server. Like, what's wrong with having something like that? Like, theoretically, you could play Timeshift forever.
Theoretically. Yeah, you could run it
theoretically.
Yourself. There were lots of old school games that did that. And I've just seen in the chat, Revived Cyan, if Shadowrun launched this year instead of the 360, it might have beaten down Fortnite and Warzone. It was made in Unity, I think, but it was one of the gameplay rehauled to 2023. It would have been big. Funny fact, it was made in the Blam engine, I believe.
Shadowrun, was it?
Yeah. I think so. And it had the same guy that worked on Halo Reach. And it always made me laugh. The lead designer, I think the lead weapon designer in Halo Reach was the guy that put the bloom on the DMR. And all of the guns in Shadowrun had like loads of bloom. But I loved Shadowrun. 360 era Shadowrun was really unique. And I agree.
Can't you still play it now?
I don't know. I would love to see if that was back compat and load it up and do some peer-to-peer.
It's backwards compatible.
I'm doing a LAN later on in February. So it's really fun, right? And I'm gonna go into a small tangent, but we've all got kids now, right? So one of our guys used to have like a 10-man LAN, and he was like, I got kids, so I've got, the house is getting smaller now, they're growing up a bit, so I can only do 6. And he pinged me and he was like, hey bro, do you want to do South versus North? So you have 6 Southerners, including yourself down there, and I'll do 6 Northerners, including myself up here, and we'll do like a little versus LAN. So it's South versus North. And we were talking, like, I've seen lots of conversation today on WhatsApp about what games we're going to play. Because outside of Halo, name me a game that caters for 12 people online, that has custom options, and you can just do everything you want. And you're really down to first-person shooters at best, but not everyone's into COD. So what other kind of fun social games can you do? And, Shadowrun, I wonder if we could get people to load it up and play it.
It is backwards compatible.
Interesting.
Shadowrun.
Interesting.
I don't know if you can still play it online, but it's backwards compatible.
It was really cool. I loved that game. So cool. Anyway, so what did we talk about just then? We had all the BC games. We had
games as
free-to-play stuff, live service games being shut down. We kind of touched on the Coalition second project. We don't know what it is.
Yeah, the rumored second. It's funny, someone tagged me on Twitter about it, and I was like, where did that rumor start? I actually don't remember.
The second project?
Jeff Grubb.
It was Grubb, yeah.
It was Jeff Grubb. And I just wonder with that, like, and again, this is not me questioning Jeff. I adore Jeff, and I trust Jeff implicitly. But I just wonder, based on how I get stuff, I'm sure Jeff gets a lot of stuff in a similar vein. So I just wonder if there was some confusion about that second project, and maybe there was a mix-up somewhere along the line, and that second project was the Matrix demo. Because the rumor always was that it's a smaller thing to get them used to Unreal Engine 5.
Yes, that's kind of what the Matrix
is. That not exactly what the Matrix demo is? A smaller project in Unreal Engine 5, and then they did that demo for the Epic Showcase. What if that's what it was? And there was just some crossed wires. Now, again, I haven't talked to Jeff. Maybe Jeff got some sort of paperwork that showed something, or he got screenshots of something. I don't know. I don't know what Jeff got. that led him to say there's a smaller project they're doing. I'm just going off what I'm hearing and seeing. So
Yeah.
I
Orange
just
Chair in the
wonder-
chat says it was separate from the Matrix. Jeff's already said that, apparently.
I know that. I understand that Jeff has said
okay.
that. I know that. And what I'm saying is, I just wonder if on his source's end there was a mix-up somewhere, because it happens. I know it does happen that way. Like, my sources may have heard something, and then it turns out it was something else.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
I just wonder, because you got to remember, with these people that we hear from, myself, Jeff, whatever, they're all at various levels within companies, or they're all in various, maybe some of them are QA testers, maybe some of them are just people who know people, maybe some of them are actually within. I used to have a source who worked at Sony Santa Monica. I used to have a source that, I have one now that works at another studio we've actually been talking about on this episode.
Careful.
I was about to say the studio's name, and I'm like, wait.
I
have one, who works in a studio we have mentioned in today's episode. So I just wonder if maybe there was a bit of a mix-up there, and maybe it turns out it was the Matrix demo. But that's without me talking to Jeff in great detail, because he might turn around and go, no, I know it wasn't the Matrix demo because of ABC. I'm just, hypothesizing or speculating here. I just wonder if it was the Matrix demo that was that second project. I don't know.
But here's the thing: all of the doom and gloom, it never existed. It's not official. You can't get mad if something's cancelled. Oh,
yeah, I know.
Drama at Microsoft Studios. Oof.
Which leads us to people now getting upset about whatever this now cancelled Respawn Titanfall Apex Legends Universe single player thing was.
Yeah.
So what our friend Jeff got a bunch of info about some cancelled single player Titanfall thing. And of course, your first reaction's going to be Titanfall 3 got cancelled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't Titanfall 3, right? It was in the Apex universe, I believe, was what was cancelled. Is that correct? Keep me honest here.
Something like that.
Something like that. I think, Jesse, you may have been on the mute.
I'll talk now. It was an Apex Legends for single player instead of a Titanfall single player. So, focused on the abilities of Apex Legends, those characters giving you abilities. I think you played as Blisk from Titanfall. It was post-war, so Titans were like a rarity, which is the worst thing for me, because the only thing I cared about in that freaking series were the Titans and that gameplay. And so future where, there's no more Titans really anymore, but they were bringing BT back, and there were going to be some Titans that were super rare, but then it seems like the person behind it and some of the other stuff, that's why it didn't work out.
Go figure.
Yeah, so, I don't know. It's sad. Is the popping still there even now?
Yeah, a little bit. It's been weird this evening.
Refresh your browser. It's normally the only way.
We're
gonna look weird for a second.
It's gonna go weird. He's doing it. Refresh.
I'll be back as quick as I can.
God, doesn't Nick suck? Isn't he like the worst?
I like my green screen. I got a really nice background. I just don't get to show it.
Nick smells. Oh,
Okay,
hi
I'm
Nick.
back.
How you doing, bro?
Okay, I'm back.
I was saying nice
Hopefully
things
the
about you
popping's
while
not
you were
there.
gone. Yeah, it's gone.
Not right now.
We'll see how long it lasts.
When it starts again, I'll yell at you, and then you might know why it started.
Yeah. It's sad that a Titanfall single player thing was cancelled. It's, like I said, if they can't do Titanfall 3, just get a small team to do Titanfall Definitive Edition.
No.
Just Titanfall 2's campaign with Titanfall 1's multiplayer. Just mash those two together.
You'd want the worst multiplayer.
And
Never
make
mind.
the greatest thing ever.
Inktail Chapo in the chat. Titanfall Legends cancellation hurt. Thank you for the super chat. Yeah, I get it. Lots of people really love Titanfall. I'd like to see a Titanfall 3, like using the new consoles and all of the power in them and
Frostbite
stuff
and everything.
Yeah,
God,
really
like
cool.
you're talking about a game, the only game to make Call of Duty stand up and go, oh, what are they doing over there? Well, that looks pretty interesting what those guys are doing over there. Maybe we should take some of that. And Titanfall affected at least 3 Call of Duty games, if not 4.
Yeah.
Like, you know, oh man, Titanfall 1. Like, look up above there. The Titanfall.
Your whole thing snaps.
Look at the Titanfall poster just up there. I've still got from day 1, launch day of Titanfall. Look at that poster up there.
Still my favorite looking Xbox controller.
Yeah, I've still got.
Yeah,
my
I had
Titanfall
the
too.
OG one. Yeah, it was really good.
I still have my Titanfall controller.
Never mind, guys.
Remember how Kinect could see those controllers because of the little blinking lights, and they could tell who was holding the controller. Man.
The dream of Kinect, all of the fun
How good was
stuff that you
Kinect?
loved.
How good was Kinect?
Mate. Never mind.
God forbid we try and do cool stuff in the industry.
Yeah. How dare
Let's
you?
just keep everything the same as it was 57 years ago because we're big man babies that don't like change.
Speaking of big man babies that don't like change, Embracer Group flipped the Tomb Raider IP apparently for
The
$600
flipping has begun. The
million.
Embracer flippening has begun. Remember how I said I could see a world where Embracers, like, they just flip Crystal and
Who
Eidos.
bought it? Was it Universal? or
Amazon.
something?
Was it
Amazon
Amazon?
bought it. My God.
Yeah, I think Amazon bought it for 600 million, which is double what Square sold all of it for. The IPs and the studios.
That is so funny.
If Square
what was Square
Enix-
thinking?
If Square Enix is not one of the dumbest video game companies going around, I don't know who is.
They are.
Like,
They are absolutely
They
nuts.
just- oh my God, they got so swindled.
What were they? What were
like-
they thinking? Like genuinely,
I don't
like,
know. When I heard 300 million for those studios and Tomb Raider and Legacy of Kain, I'm like,
There was a lot of debt they took on as well, so it did add on to the cost quite a bit.
That's just bonkers.
Yeah, well, it looks
to
like
me.
Embracer got rid of that.
Might be. It's not announced, not confirmed, but it's the rumor.
It's a rumor, isn't it, at the moment?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So it's not.
Yeah,
IP
technically it's not
licensing,
confirmed.
like
Technically, it's not
exclusive
confirmed
licensing,
yet.
because they are publishing the game, so
Yes.
making shows and movies and whatnot. Phoebe Waller-Bridges making a movie or TV, whatever it was.
I am curious as to why Microsoft wouldn't have had a look at that.
I'm sure they would have, but the ABK thing just they just can't do anything, man.
Oh my God,
They
this
can't do anything right
ABK
now. There's
shit,
no
man.
moves.
Jesus Christ.
Like I fully expect the second ABK closes,
all of a sudden, all this other stuff just starts happening.
100% certain affinity will just be like, yo, we're owned now. We are.
Yeah, I still suspect Certain Affinity probably want to be acquired by Microsoft and are just waiting for all this bullshit to end so they can just officially become... But, like, why would ABK get in the way of Microsoft buying a smaller partner studio?
Because politicians are stupid.
Yeah, mate, it's just the optics. That's it. It's not legally, it wouldn't get in the way. It's just the optics. That's it.
They know how to play the game, and they know politicians are desperate to look like they're standing up to big tech. So your logic is sound, but it doesn't matter because politicians are generally pretty stupid. They don't actually understand the industry, but they want their constituents to think, look, I'm fighting really hard against this right now. They don't actually care about reality. They never have.
I think that's a fair.
It just seems dumb. It's like the whole GoldenEye, like, oh, well, GoldenEye has been pushed back a little bit because of the Ukraine war. And allegedly that was why Advanced Wars for Switch sort of just kind of disappeared.
Mental.
Because of the Ukraine war, which I still just find odd. And apparently Advanced Wars is being shadow dropped next week. Allegedly.
Really?
That's the next rumor. Well, yeah,
Allegedly.
which I still find a bit weird because Advanced Wars has a physical release as well.
Yeah.
And I feel
The
like
physical
shadow
release
dropping
is why it work. The shadow drop
is why what?
is why it's leaked. It's not an actual good shadow drop because of it being physical.
That
Well,
makes
maybe,
sense.
yeah. Because, some guy on Reddit was like, oh, my store got a whole bunch of standees and One of them is Advanced Wars, and it says out now, and it's got 10th of Feb on it. And like, just hours after that, I got a DM from one of my people going, independently of that Reddit thread, just saying, oh, someone I know told me that Advanced Wars is out next week on the 10th, apparently.
Wow.
So as I do sometimes with Nintendo rumors, I went into the Nintendo Pipeline Discord and said, hey, I just got told Advance Wars is being shadow dropped next week. And they're like, oh, did you hear that from the Reddit thread? I'm like, what Reddit thread? I got the DM while I was driving.
Yeah.
So what Reddit thread are you talking about? And they showed me, and I was like, okay, well, there you go. Maybe there's something to it, because I just heard the same thing.
Independently. This person... How do I... I can't explain why I know this person didn't go off the Reddit thread without giving something away about this person. But, yeah, so I don't know. Well, I mean, we'll find out next week if Advance Wars is being shadow dropped. But yeah, for
it
sure.
lines up because Jeff Grubb heard that there was going to be a Nintendo Direct next week.
Wow. Okay.
So the two things are kind of lining up there. So
maybe.
Yeah.
That's a good way to... Everyone's loving the shadow drops nowadays. So, you know, if it's
apparently
leaked, it's
everything
leaked,
has to
but
be shadow dropped now.
Everything. Every
Everything
single
is
game.
People are
shadow
really
drop.
bad at nuance. They only do all or nothing.
Shadow drop everything.
Every game. Shadow drop Starfield.
Everything. Yep.
Outside of that, I think the last thing to mention is the PlayStation Plus collection is going away.
Yeah, it's PlayStation just announced that of May. I got the email about it. As of May 9th, that PlayStation Plus collection, which was a way to entice people over from PS4 to PS5.
Yep.
They're getting rid of it. They're saying claim the games. Make sure you claim the games before May 9th so they're in your library, but they're not going to offer that PlayStation collection anymore, which I guess kind of makes sense. But yeah. Also, Jedi Survivor was slightly delayed.
Yeah. And I think that's going to affect another game. But
Well, you know what game is going to affect that we know for sure is Dead Island 2, which was delayed to the exact same date.
oof. They might be like,
Really?
oh no.
And isn't I think
Yes,
wait.
Idle Sloth leaked it. We weren't going to say anything, but Idle Sloth put it out
Benedict Fox?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Their
I was
publisher
just
for
about
Sun-
to say it, and then I'm like, oh, hold on, maybe I shouldn't say it.
Yeah,
Not that
we're
there's
friends with
anything.
Bartek.
There's nothing we can say about it, but their publisher put out that there was going to be a gameplay demo on Monday, and that the game released on the 27th, and that has since been privated
Yes. So we'll see
27th.
what happens
of April. Yeah.
on Monday.
27th of April. Wait. 27th of April. Hold on a second. Why does that date ring a bell?
'Cause that's the day before Star Wars and Dead Island 2 now.
Yeah. And then Redfall's like 5-6 days later.
27th. Okay, I can see now. I have a wedding that weekend.
Always
That's why
about
the
you.
27th rang a bell. I'm like, wait. Okay, so I won't be
Yeah.
able to play Benedict Fox that weekend very much.
Well, there you go.
That'd be fine. John's doing the review anyways. He told me.
Well, it depends, Nick. If you're away, man's got to do what a man's got to do.
Comes out on the 27th.
Oh,
If we get the code early, if
Getting codes
Mr.
early
Bart-
hasn't been our strong suit lately.
yeah, but
Yeah,
Bartek might give me a code early enough, and then I can review it
I think
before.
Bartek said he likes my reviews the best. I'm sorry.
Oh, whatever, man.
Hey, here's a question. Here's several
I'm
questions,
in.
actually. One, speaking of reviews and all the sorts of things that we're doing, Jesse,
Mhm.
what have we got coming this week ahead of us? To the
There's a
Xbox
real big
Era?
game coming out on Monday. We were not sent a digital code, but we might have a review anyways.
Yep.
Mom and pop shops breaking street dates, a wonderful thing.
Yep.
God, what else is there? Is there that much? I know yours is the week after. I don't know that we actually have that much this week on the docket because everything's coming out in 2 to 3 weeks. We should be on the list for Wild Hearts, but
Yep.
that's EA, so probably at launch and not at the fucking embargo. And we are on the list for Atomic Heart. I got that
Yep.
with Focus Interactive, and that, by the way, looks too good to be true in the latest.
It
game
does.
trailer they
I'm
showed.
like, where's the catch? What's going on?
That's also too much to have faked. That was too much to have faked.
What about Resident Evil 4?
Mike Skiles has already asked us to if he can be the reviewer for Resident Evil 4 Remake.
What?
He's the biggest Resident Evil fan. He loves it, even though I had to do 8 because he never did it. I'm not going to say no to the man. Sorry, Nick, you didn't ask. Asking is the
Snooze,
biggest.
you lose, man.
Surely you know me well enough now. Surely you know me well enough.
Yeah, I generally assume you're not going to do anything. That's how well I know you.
Like, you know me well enough to be like, decent chance Nick's going to want Resident Evil 4.
Well,
Yes.
there's some berating going on for Nick and his work ethic. People watching, please hit like. It really helps us out. Nearly 300 people watching and only like, I don't know, 140 likes. Come on, help us out. Oh, and for my British fans, one of the big highlights of my time this week, my downtime, is Roadman Pingu.
What?
Roadman Pingu.
I don't
Just-
know what those words
Just
mean.
go look it up on YouTube. Have a good laugh. It is very British. I don't think there's any copyright to it. Like Jesse could play some Roadman Pingu, but it's a thing, and it really did crack me up. You remember Pingu, right? Pingu?
Yes, that little penguin
Merp,
made
merp.
out of Play-Doh.
Right. It's just speaking like a roadman, which in I guess in British terms is like a really annoying chav, which again is a really horrible term for like a kind of just an idiot.
Isn't
right?
it like a jock? Like a
no,
real jock?
no.
Ah,
It's really difficult to describe, but Brits will know what I
okay.
mean.
Right, am I playing Roadman Pingu?
no, don't worry about it.
You don't have to
It's
play
already loaded.
Roadman. Oh, it is very
You're right,
funny.
Pico Trek. You're right, Pico Trek. I just don't want to pay for Resident Evil 4.
The truth comes out.
I already tried to get Hagi Chani to buy me Resident Evil 4.
Yeah, what is
I
with
don't
you
think-
cruising around asking people to buy you games, man? What's going on? This is getting kind of desperate.
Because he spent $50,000 on Apple products, so he doesn't have any money left.
Okay, makes sense.
I do
Yes,
have a list,
I,
so we don't have much next week unless Proven's, I think, actually pretty darn good article video is ready to go.
Yeah.
But coming this month would be Hogwarts Legacy, 10 Dates, Like a Dragon Ishin, which we have the code in already, Wanted Dead, Transa Ruby, The Night Witch, and Remoteness, among other things that are all in the works.
I don't even use my money. Like, I didn't pay for that Edge controller. You keep talking about that Edge controller. I didn't pay for that Edge controller. My mum did.
A gift card is your money.
God.
It was given
That
to you.
makes it
It
even
is your
worse.
money. It was your
Oh, my
money.
mum
It's a
bought it
gift
for
card.
me. Oh,
A gift
love
card
me,
is
mum.
your
My
money.
mum paid for it.
Have some self-respect and dignity, man. For
You
goodness
say
sake.
that. You say that like it's not money, but it is. It was your money to spend however you wanted. It was your money.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying. It wasn't
My
like...
mum's bought it, mate. My mum's bought it.
I'm saying, like, it's not my actual money that paid for that Edge controller. It was my mum.
Oh, thanks, Mrs. Special Nick. Thanks, Mum. Thanks, Mum.
Thanks, Mark.
Can you come do the washing?
Mom, I need a second. It didn't charge long enough.
Oh, dear God.
So, I did an impromptu appearance on Boom's podcast. I was working and I had Boom's podcast on in the background, and like I heard Hagit Chani saying some stuff, and you know how sometimes, I mean, that's why super chats are so successful, because people hear you say stuff and they really want to jump in and like get involved in the conversation. So I heard some stuff Hagit was saying, and I agreed with like 90% of it, but there was something else I wanted to say. And I was like, man, I so want to jump on right now and talk to Hagit about what he's saying. And then Boom's like, yeah, man, jump on. And he sent me the link to StreamYard, and I just appeared in the podcast.
Better than a super chat. Better than a super chat. Just comes
At
straight
the end,
in.
I was like, hey, Hagit, you want to buy me Resident Evil 4?
Did he?
Like,
Just
nope.
out here. Yeah, good. Huggy. Tell him to go fuck himself.
I'll get my mum to buy it.
Oh, God. Anyway, it's the time on the show, chat, for Name a Game. Which is, again, Nick, at least according to your T-shirt, sponsored by our good friends at Manscaped.
Once again.
Yeah. Are we playing the video?
Yeah, why not?
Playing the video now.
Okay. Now, as we all know, Valentine's Day is coming.
Yep.
Very soon. So listen, it's like a week and a bit away. Now, there's a push at the moment for Valentine's for the day before Valentine's Day to be National Shave Your Balls Day.
Wow.
How do we feel about that?
Now, hang on. There is a
I'm all
day
for it.
that is meant to be a competitor to Valentine's Day, right? But I think it's the month later, right?
Is that? What are you
know?
talking about?
It involves
Anyway.
meat. It involves meat products.
Anyway, so what better gift to give your significant other than clean shaved balls? There's not many better gifts than that.
You're not wrong. I don't think you're wrong. I think you're right.
That's
You know.
that's why. Like, imagine Valentine's Day. Here you go. It's my dick in a box. And there you go. Just like Justin Timberlake once said. God, do you remember that with the Lonely Island? Justin Timberlake and what's his name?
Yeah.
Oh my God, Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yeah, he's in Brooklyn Nine-Nine, isn't he?
Andy Samberg.
Yes. Yeah.
Andy Samberg and Justin Timberlake. That's why you go to manscaped.com and you use the code XboxEra for 20% off and free shipping. And in that way... What?
No, I was quite surprised. Like, if you think about it, and I mean this sincerely, chat, 20% off is not insignificant. Neither is free shipping. And
No.
as owners of the actual product, I gotta say, like, I've owned a lot of beard trimming and other hair trimming devices in my life. Pretty damn good. Pretty damn good.
Didn't nick me or anything.
Yeah. Like, I have not yet.
Out the guard. Without the guard. It didn't even nick me or anything. So on this year's first inaugural National Shave Your Balls Day, Feb 13, you be sure to use our code and get yourself a Lawnmower 4.0 and use the guard.
Yeah.
If you want. And give the gift of clean shaved balls.
And ladies, why not buy it as a gift for Valentine's Day? You know, if your fella isn't getting the message,
gents.
What, buy it for your lady? Here, this is for you.
No, ladies or gents, buy it for your gents.
Oh yeah, okay.
Either
Fair.
or.
Sorry, yeah.
Either or.
But yes,
everyone should enjoy clean shaved balls. Everyone should. Why
anyway,
not?
this was painful.
And ball deodorant, and then you get the ball deodorant as well.
The ball deodorant's actually quite nice. I love the smell of my balls now.
Yeah, that's good.
We're going off the
That's
deep
very
end,
good.
man. We're going off the deep end.
Okay. So yeah.
Anyway, Jesse, Quizmaster Jesse.
Yeah, great. Now I get to show my face. Hello, everyone. After all that
Yeah.
fun times.
Yeah,
Hello.
it's time for name
This
a
is-
game.
I need to buy
Time
a
for
boo.
Name a Game. This is the game where
Can't
Nick
keep
and
using
John will be told a game name that I have synonymized. They got to figure out what game I'm talking about.
Yeah.
They're real stupid, and this week's is all about games that were delisted on the Xbox 360 marketplace.
Oh,
Okay.
oh my god. I don't know any of these.
Okay.
Oh my
Right,
god,
you looked
they're
in on the
real.
old buzzer.
This is a week. I know some people have said some stuff, but about in the past, but this is a week. Oh boy. These are
Okay.
What do you
crazy.
mean?
I've got my
What does that
buzzer
mean?
open.
The buzzer is set to go. Everything's going live. You know, actually, I'm going to skip us over to desktop audio so people can hear the buzzer real quick.
Okay.
I'm going to use the space bar.
Fucking OBS changed my thing. There we go. Now you can hear me again. All right.
All
The
right.
first one in games that have been delisted on the Xbox
I can't see the
360.
words now either, which annoys me.
Question number 1 is, I don't know how to say the word I wrote here. Quinquagenarian pence, one word.
What?
Ichor smattering the gravel. Just focus on the second half.
I'm going to have to open up YouTube now so I can actually see what you just said.
Quinquagenarian pence, one word.
What?
Ichor
I have to look
smattering
at
the
the
gravel.
screen.
It's all
Oh
English.
my god.
Just focus on Ichor smattering the gravel. That should give it to you pretty easy. And when I can't say a number because it would give it away too easy. Quinquagenarian pence. Ichor smattering the gravel. Might be a game that Jason Ronald gave you, you mother. Jesus Christ. Come on.
Oh my god, are you serious?
Oh,
I buzzed in.
Nick
I
buzzed
already
in.
buzzed in.
Yep.
What, you were going to say your name, were you? No, I already buzzed in. 50 Cent, Blood in the Sand?
Correct. If I said
He's about to
50,
say his name.
if
John.
I said 50 in any way, you would have immediately known what it was. Like if I put 50 there.
yeah.
My problem is, my brain blocks out that you could repeat a game, and I refuse to think of games we've already done before.
Mhm. There's not that many games that fit this because so many of them have like dumb names or specific numbers or things that just
But
only...
wasn't 50 Cent... Oh, hold on. You're not talking about just the batch of 47. You're talking
there's
about
five,
just
everything.
altogether.
There's been 500 of them
Ah,
now.
okay.
It can be any of that. It could be the newer batch. It could be older.
Okay.
Next
Yeah,
one is
okay.
Genesis Treaty.
Genesis Treaty. I can't dance.
It's a 360 game, isn't it?
They're all 360 games.
Genesis.
The treaties.
Boop, 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 boop.
Man, I don't know. Genesis.
Genesis. Genesis is the beginning, isn't it? Isn't Genesis like the beginning of something?
If I'm
A
correct,
treaty.
the
It's
company that made this, the developer that made this, is now owned by Xbox, but it was not published by somebody that Xbox owns. That's why it's not listed anymore. Let me double check. The dev that made it is now owned by Xbox. Yes, the dev that made it is owned by Xbox, but it was published by Sega.
Genesis Treaty.
It's a really popular game that you guys have talked about liking a lot.
Really?
What?
People have. I don't know actually if you have. It was on Unreal Engine 3. It was made by Obsidian Entertainment, published by Sega. Last month.
Oh.
Yeah, this is next week. I don't know.
Oh my god.
Fuck it.
Stick Mechanico.
No. I don't know.
Nick
I just-
Mechanico.
Go on, go Nick. I don't know.
Alpha Protocol.
Correct. Also, neither of you
Nice.
said who you're playing for. You guys are so bad at this. I was just waiting to see if you
Oh,
could
yeah.
remember that part of it.
Right.
Figure it out later.
Yeah,
Who
you're
cares? Not me.
Bloody hell, I forgot about that.
Man.
Man.
And I was
So-
in the Patreon yesterday and today. No, yesterday.
All right. You guys, do you want to figure out who you're playing for real quick before we finish?
Yeah, I know who I'm playing for.
Okay. Say it. You're locked in.
I am going to play for Radosky.
Ski.
I'm playing for nrXic.
I've already played for him once.
Have you?
didn't I?
Did he win?
I think so. I can't
I
remember.
don't think so.
I'm pretty sure I played for NRXic. I might be wrong. Anyway, go on, carry on.
Oh,
All right.
oops, I don't
For the
know. I
win,
didn't think we
potentially, John's going to have to be on the ball.
Oh, yeah, I
he-
did.
So nrXic. Okay, so I guess I'm not playing for nrXic. I will play for.
Make a little spreadsheet. Remember who you played for. Well, remember who everyone played for.
Yeah, I know. We need to do that too, don't we? I know I played for Skedaddle last week.
Hmm.
I've played for Maddie TTSC.
Doesn't matter who you've played for so much because you didn't win until last week. But yeah, try and do something different.
All right. I will play. You know what? Even though he won't buy me Resident Evil 4, I'll play for Hargit Chani.
Even though he won't buy me a free game, I'll give him a free game to show what an incredible person I
When
am.
he sees a list of them, though, he probably will take more as an insult.
Tight ass.
All right. Next one
Unlike
is...
Ray Oid, he was like, "Here, man, here's Dead Space." It's like, what a legend! You're a legend, Ray.
Number 3, potentially for Nick's win. Mutant Folk Beginnings, shoe brand.
Oh, that part screwed me up.
do you
Say it
think?
again.
Mutant Folk
Say it again.
Beginnings, shoe brand.
For fuck's sake. Mutant folk.
Mutant Folk,
Beginnings.
one word. Shoe brand, one word. After a buzz, you got, I give you no more than 15 seconds. You got 5. I'm going to start up the timer, actually, here.
No, the shoe brands thing threw me. I thought I had the game in my head and then I screwed it up.
And there is the timer.
I buzzed X-Men Origins. Oh fuck, X-Men Origins. Fuck. I'm trying to remember the word.
There's only one game.
Yeah, but I can't remember the.
I know
the
what
last-
it is, but I've buzzed myself out.
X-Men Origins.
Come on, he's had longer now. Look how long he's had.
Yeah, but
No,
I've
he
got,
hasn't. It's been like friggin' 10 seconds. I gave you 25 total. He's about done.
2/3 of the answer.
How the hell can you not
X-Men
remember the X-Men?
Origins?
I know
hang
what
on.
this
Is.
I call that. That's... Come on. I know Nick's going to complain, but he knows.
Because
He
that's
just,
that Nick talks about that game all the time. He talks about that game
it's the
all
only
the
game.
freaking time.
Yes, but you got to say the word. You got 10 seconds.
Is that delisted? Wolverine.
Oh, you got
Yeah.
it. Okay, he got it.
Yeah.
That thing was just... about
Why
to
is
go
that
off, too.
shoe brands?
That's a shoe brand in
It's
America.
a big boot. It's like a
Yeah.
it's like a work boot. isn't it?
Wolverine.
Yep.
Yeah.
See, that's what threw me. The shoe brands thing. As soon as I heard shoe brands, I went, what?
Got him.
I don't even know.
Shoe brand.
All right.
X-Men Origins.
Yeah. Jared Bishop, that's what I had in my head. I'm like, Nike? Reebok? I'm like, Adidas? I'm like, what video game has those things in it?
All right,
I had
next.
a big debate about Nike or Nike. I was like, it's Nike, right?
It's Nike.
It is. But yeah.
All
And
right.
it's Adidas. It's not Adidas.
No one cares.
It's Adidas.
Next one. Astray. Epic Journey. Epic Journey, one word.
Astray.
Being delisted on the 360 marketplace.
Astray.
Astray.
Journey.
Epic-journey.
Oh.
Astray.
Was this
360.
made by a now owned Microsoft studio?
No, I know the game you're thinking of, and it's not that game. But say it. Good. Say it and lock yourself out. Say it.
Is it? Do you know what one I'm thinking about?
I'm not
I
giving
know
any
the game
hints
you're thinking of. Say it. Buzz in and say it. I know the game you're about to say. Say it.
I can't remember the name. I just remember the main character's
say
name.
it. Go, say it. Lock yourself out and give me time to think about
This is
the
one of the
actual
games
answer.
that goes on sale for $5 all the time, and everyone says,
This
buy
was
it.
this was a 360 exclusive. Fuck it. I'll go for it.
Yeah.
It wasn't developed, but I'm pretty sure it was thingy. My first thought, I can't remember the guys.
Epic Journey.
Lost Odyssey.
Correct.
Oh, he wasn't going to say Lost Odyssey, though.
My first.
He was
thought,
going to
and I
say
can't remember-
Enslaved. He was
Yes,
going to say
that was
Enslaved
my
by
first
Ninja
thought.
Theory.
That was
I
my-
That
knew
would've
that's
been
what
a
you were
lot
going to
long-
say. That's
that
why I
would've been
said
so
buzz
much
in and lock
longer.
it in.
That would have been Enslaved Odyssey to the West. There
Yeah,
would've been
I know.
way more to it.
Yeah. That's
I
what
know.
I mean.
I knew that's the game he
Now
was
it's
thinking of, and that's why I
time.
was like, buzz in. Say it.
I love that
Alright.
we both went to the same game. That game, by the way, Enslaved Odyssey to the West, is legit.
Buzzers.
I haven't played it. I've got it, but I haven't played it.
All right.
Really good.
Next one is Plain Pair, P-A-I-R, Wave hyphen emitter. Plain, P-L-A-N-E, Pair, P-A-I-R, Wave hyphen emitter. Plain Pair, Wave emitter.
P-L-A-N-E. You said plane is an aeroplane.
P-L-A-N-E, yes.
Plain
Yes.
pair.
Plain
As in a
pair.
pair of shoes, not a pair as in
Yeah.
a fruit.
P-A-I-R.
Plain pair. What was the last part?
Wave hyphen emitter. M-I-T-T-E-R. M-I-T-T-E-R.
This is
This game is going to be delisted on the 360 marketplace.
Going to be. Are you talking right now? Or are you muted?
No, I'm shaking my head. Yes, you asked. I asked a question. I shook my head.
Because I wasn't sure who was talking or not.
Can I request a clue? Did you play footage of this today?
You shouldn't have
He's
asked.
got it. Yeah, he's got it. I'll buzz in
Jet Set
anyway.
Radio.
Yeah, it's Jet Set Radio.
Jet Set Radio.
Hmm.
Well played.
I was focusing on plane pair. Aeroplane. Jet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's a really good one, to be honest. Jet,
set.
plane,
A set.
set, a pair.
A set.
Yeah, really good.
Wave emitter
really
and a
good.
radio. It emits radio
He was
waves.
playing the music earlier.
And then you ask a question and just handed in the answer. Never do that.
Boop, 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 boop.
I'm the one who gives the hints.
I won.
There, he won. He's back. He's on the
I
board.
won.
Right, Hargeet.
Finally for the year. He's on the
Hargeet
board.
Johnny
folks.
messaged me
Hargeet,
on
I got you
Twitter.
a free game, Hargeet. How
Yeah.
about you return the favor,
Yeah,
Hargeet?
but based on the based on what I have, it's not gonna be this.
Have we got any others?
I've got I handed away 50 games over the last
No,
couple
no.
days.
Have we
I
got-
still
See,
have-
see if he wants.
Oh, no, I-
see if
more
he wants
questions
Jedi
here.
Fallen Order. See if he wants Jedi Fallen Order on Origin.
Nah.
If he's got a decent PC, he
All
might.
right. Yes, I made 10 this week because it was real easy and I was having fun. Next one is Ending Clash Multiplied Hits. Ending Clash,
Yeah, I've
multiplied
got it.
hits.
I've got it. I buzzed.
Oh, my buzzer's not refreshed.
Did you reset the buzzer? I buzzed.
I did. I clicked clear. Here, do it again. Here you go. Go ahead, Nick.
Final fight, double impact.
Correct. Got that one pretty quick.
Oh yeah.
Double click cleared again.
Yep.
Next one is Void Essences.
What?
Void Essences. ESSENCES. One of the most influential games of that generation. Through now, even.
Really?
Spawned a genre. Nicka Mechanico.
Dark Souls.
Correct.
Okay.
And you're on fire.
At first, I'm like, wait, Demon Souls spawned the genre, but that's not on
No,
360.
and no one likes Demon
Like,
Souls.
wait,
compared.
that's not on
Demon
360.
Souls is like really goddamn annoying compared to Dark Souls.
I'm glad you got that answer because I was going to say
I
Demon
almost
Souls.
threw myself for a second. I'm like, wait, Demon Souls isn't on 360.
Next one.
Killer's Vow, kinship. Killer's Vow, kinship.
My buzzer needs refreshing.
Yeah. You made me say it before I was about to go click it.
Yeah, I know this.
Killer's Vow,
Killer's
as in
Vow.
as a promise, or
Killer's Vow, VOW, kinship.
oh,
Stick a
no,
mechanical.
Yeah.
was
Damn it.
oh,
Starting
I
up
got
the
my
10
names with
I'm starting up
Assassin's Creed. It's
I've
Assassin's
got it,
Creed.
I've got it.
It's not 2, is it? It's Brotherhood. But is there a 2
You
in
got
there?
it.
or
No,
would you have-
it's just Brotherhood.
No, it's Assassin's Creed
was that the
You got
third
it.
one after Assassin's Creed 2? Or was
Got
there
it.
Assassin's Creed 4?
No, there was Assassin's Creed. There were 3. There was Assassin's Creed 2, Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, Assassin's Creed Revelations,
Yeah. It came third.
and then
It came
Assassin's Creed 3. Because Brotherhood and Revelations were the Ezio trilogy for 2.
third. Yeah.
All right. Next
knew it,
one
'cause I played
is.
Reset the buzzer.
Wait. I had to click it 3 times. Come on, buzzer. Accretion Outcome 2.
What?
Accretion.
What?
ACCRETION. Accretion. Outcome.
I don't even know what that word is.
I mean, that's your fault.
Is it a derivative of accrue, as in to
To accrete.
grow something?
It is to accrete. Accretion. It's a word. It's English. You say America doesn't know the
Accretion.
English yet. You two are like.
Accretion Outcome 2.
Yep. Yes.
I only know outcome and 2, so I've got to think off it based off that. What's accretion? Accretion outcome 2.
Accretion,
Oh,
the process of growth or increase, typically by the gradual accumulation of additional layers of matter.
You shouldn't have said that.
Neither of you
shouldn't
were
have
going to
said
get it.
that.
You both are so bad at English.
You
Go
shouldn't
ahead.
have said that because that gave it away.
Oh, well,
Mass Effect 2.
Yeah, we can't take all day on this. Correct.
Yeah.
As soon as you said what accretion was, that was when I realised.
Well, you are all, we speak the proper English down here, don't we, Governor? And you're like, you don't even know what goddamn accretion means. Next
We
one.
do speak proper
is
English. That doesn't mean I know every word in English language.
Oblivion. One word. Oblivion. Oblivion. One word.
Oblivion.
Oblivion.
Nope. Reset buzzers. Keep going. I'm not letting you fuckers off on you easy on this one.
Oblivion.
It would be the Elder Scrolls Oblivion if it was that. No, it's not that.
Yeah, that's right.
The old
Oblivion.
parchment. Then not the word Oblivion, because that would literally just be the name of the game. Oblivion.
He's saying
One
what
word.
it would be if it was Elder Scrolls.
Oh, okay. He confused the shit out of me for a second there.
Oh, so confused at
Oblivion.
basic English.
And it came out on 360.
Yep.
And it's now been delisted.
It's been delisted on 360. I believe you can buy it on Xbox One as a port. All-time classic. Had a better
Hold on,
game.
Was this an Xbox Live Arcade game?
Probably. Sicka Mechanico.
Is it the 1990
No,
early, the
you're
first
out.
release?
Nope.
Oh,
Nicka Mechanico.
okay.
Is it Doom?
No. Clearing buzzers. Keep going. I want to see if you guys can get this. It is one word, 5 letters.
Yeah.
Not 4. that'd be
5
Doom.
letters.
Yep.
Oblivion.
A place. Oblivion is a place.
What?
Oblivion as a place is how I'm using it. Black.
Don't
Well,
know.
black is 5 letters, but it's not black. That wouldn't work for Oblivion.
I didn't. No one said black.
Chat. I'm reading chat. I get to read chat.
Oh,
Oh. I was about to say, I didn't say
John
black.
Epion said black. It is
Black
not.
was on an OG Xbox.
You know, those could probably work if they were like transferred to the 360 marketplace and then got delisted. That probably could have worked.
Oblivion.
Yeah. John really loves this game and the next game this company made.
Ah, hold on.
Nicka Mechanico. Starting at the 10-second time.
Limbo.
Correct.
Okay.
That's all 10. Nicka, most of them, he whooped your ass.
Yeah, man.
John.
absolutely kicks my ass. But he's
I
on the
love
board
my
for the first
360. I
time
love
this
my
year.
BC and my 360 games, man.
Mhm.
Yep. Well played.
All right, well, goodbye, everyone.
Oh man.
That was fun.
So Hargeet, if you're watching, I got you a free game. You know, pay it forward. But back to me.
Don't do it. His mum will buy it for him. Don't worry.
I accrued all these codes, and I'm the one handing them out, so give it to me.
Anyway,
see
chat.
if he's
Chat.
got Fallen Order. We've got him in Discord.
We've
I'll ask
done
him
name
in
a game.
Discord.
It's now the time in the show where we like to thank our wonderful, wonderful, beautiful,
Mums
sexy.
for buying us stuff.
No, not our mums. I used the word sexy. You're a bit weird.
Hold on, I said mum before you said sexy. Calm down.
That's that Australian lag there, bro. I think. But it's time to thank our patrons. So everything we do on XboxEra, from our reviews, this show, our website, our forums, XboxEra, Day One, is all made possible by our wonderful patrons. And you too can become one by visiting patreon.com/XboxEra. It's a very cool place to play. Yeah, you get access to a super, super secret, don't tell anyone, Patreon-only forum where you can ask us community questions, as well as receiving cool merch. Speaking of cool merch, earlier this week, we revealed, because we were just rushing to get this one on our web store, a very, very sexy HiFi RUSH themed XboxEra shirt, which is now available on the store. It looks like that. But cool. Our patrons get the fancy version, which has some extra spice to it, as part of their membership, which we'll be updating for the next quarter for that t-shirt. So if you too want to, if you're on the right tier, that's true. If you want to struggle to say the word XboxEra, you too can pick up this very, very sexy HiFi RUSH.
And we've started working on our exclusive podcasts. We've started it up.
We have. So we've had some initial discussions on how to do our movie show and other things. We've got some Game Pass stuff coming out of the woodwork as well. So we're just ironing this and getting it into a polished shape, and then we'll start putting them together. Speaking of films, I watched Plane as well with Jared Butler.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you've seen the trailer for it, but it literally gives you the whole plot of the film in the trailer. Like the whole thing, even the twists. And I was like, okay, this is terrible. But it is a proper switch your brain off, awful movie.
As Gerard's movies generally are.
And I watched Megan, and I hated it.
Yeah, I've watched Megan as well. Mithrigan, as some people like to call it.
Yeah, I thought it was pants. Absolute
Really?
pants.
I didn't mind it. I didn't mind Megan.
It was so boring. Like it wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't disturbing. It didn't make. It was just laughably bad.
I watched Skinamarink.
Mechanico.
Skinamarink.
Sinkamarink?
That's one of the most overrated horror movies I've ever seen.
Oh, okay. But anyway.
Oh, God.
It's community question times. Nick.
It was trying to play into the whole paranormal activity, found footage, Blair Witch thing, and it just failed miserably at it. Like, it was just silly.
Yeah.
It just wasn't, frankly, very scary. Okay. Community questions. Community question number one. Htyham G. Htyham G.
Htyham G.
When it comes to 343 and their handling of Halo Infinite, they were struggling the whole time with that slipspace engine and such. And with Unreal 5 kind of coming to Halo Infinite with Tatanka/BR and such, they're just rebooting the system in Halo, not the entire franchise, like new story or something. But your guys' take on that Halo Infinite situation? I mean, fair to say we probably covered Halo Infinite.
Yeah, we went into that in quite a lot of detail.
In depth. Probably took up a good close to half the show.
Hour of the show.
Yeah. So I reckon if you Htyham, because I'm pretty sure Htyham was watching from the start, fair to say
we probably
covered your question there. P.S. I beat Dead Space Remake. Awesome game, and I like it better than the original. And is Dead Space 2 Remake coming to all platforms aside from Steam? I'd be shocked if there's no Dead Space 2 Remake.
I would think it's very far off, though, because they are doing the Iron Man game next.
Iron Man
Studio.
Yeah. And Iron Man needs to come first. And once they're done with Iron Man, then they can do Dead Space 2.
Yeah. We did have a super chat we missed from Hugh. He was talking.
Really?
He sent us £2. Amazon leased the Tomb Raider IP, not bought. He was confirming that.
And there was another super chat from.
I think John got that one.
It was blank. There was just a blank.
Yeah, it was 99p from Xbox Nation or Xbox United, something like that.
Yeah, and it was just blank. Thank you, though.
Yeah.
Soulblazers. Yo. Crackdown came up in the Discord, so I figured I'd ask in here on the podcast too. If they were making a Crackdown 4, what do you think they'd have to do to make it better, avoid the critic response of the third game? Just make it have good graphics.
Transforming vehicles.
Actual destruction like they showed originally.
No, it doesn't need that. Yeah, that would have been cool if they'd pulled that off, but it doesn't need it. Crackdown's fun is in the verticality and powering yourself up through collecting orbs. The only reason Crackdown started getting shit on early days was because of the graphics. That was it. Which is why Halo Infinite's campaign is now copying it retroactively.
That game
Can
looks
you
good.
imagine a Crackdown 4 with HiFi RUSH's graphical art style?
I'd take it. I'd take it.
Maybe they
Crackdown
should
3
speak
doesn't have
like...
to. Crackdown 4 doesn't have to look realistic.
No, I want the cel-shaded look even
Crackdown
more
3
now.
running maxed out on a PC looks pretty nice. It's very colorful. The issue
Yeah.
is that's just an empty city. There's not much to do in it.
Yeah.
Like a Crackdown 4 with a budget, with a decent budget, with one studio making it from start to finish, being allowed to fulfill their vision, could still be a great game.
Yeah, I agree
Like-
with that.
Yeah. Shadow drop it. Yeah, no, Crackdown, and as long as it's good looking, people won't shit on it. As
It's gotta look
unfortunate
good.
as it is, we live in a world now where, thanks to Sony's bangers, everything has to be like the greatest looking thing, and it has to be realistic looking. Otherwise, what's the point? Because, you know, realistic graphics or death. Stupid. Okay. nrXic. Hello all. Last week's clickbait thumbnail turned out great, and it was great to see Tom get involved. Did you see it? The GoldenEye Series S. Is Jesse putting it up?
Yeah.
I find these hilarious. I hope you don't mind if I turn this into a regular thing. Let me know. If you're inclined for one more to at least complete the trilogy, I have one more fake news item for you all to react to. Jesse, you can join in if you're down. The day after Microsoft completes its purchase of Activision, Xbox announces that Infinity Ward will be working on the next Halo under the guidance of 343.
I'm probably pretty small.
Okay. I had the most appropriate reaction. All right. Next question. DeoGame. Hi all. Weird question. I saw the new Shyamalan flick this week. Man, I want to see that. Great film. And thinking on his style, it reminded me of when filmmakers used to work on games closer, like Spielberg with Boom Blocks or John Woo with Stranglehold. God, Stranglehold was good too.
Stranglehold was awesome.
Needs its control scheme modernized.
Yeah, just a
immensely.
smidge.
Like, it has controls from its year before they realized how to control games properly. What filmmaker would you like to see involved in a game? Neil Blomkamp.
Peter Jackson.
Didn't you already have Neil Blomkamp involved in a game and it was a goddamn NFT BR? Wasn't he involved in that Crytek one?
I don't know. That's a good
Are
point.
we supposed to be talking about that?
That leaked. Other people leaked that.
Did they?
Yes, that whole thing.
Ah.
Yeah.
But I think they took out the NFT part.
Oh, good one in the chat. Jarrett Bishop, Jordan Peele for a horror game. Yeah, that'd be fun.
It's got to be a director that plays video games, though.
I imagine Jordan Peele plays games.
Chris Pratt
Maybe.
making
Yeah.
anything.
Neil
Chris
Druckmann.
Pratt. Let Chris Pratt make Mario Odyssey too.
Probably be more fun.
Yeah. Sound like shit. Hey, it's me. I'm a Mario.
I'm also a
Chris,
Peach.
I mean, I'm Mario, not Chris Pratt. I'm a me. Hey, oh,
Wahoo!
where's the gabagoo? Hey, oh.
Please stop. Please stop.
Yeah, there was that game that was a shooter, an NFT shooter, and then they took out the NFT part. And yeah, was Neil Blomkamp involved in that? I can't remember.
How about
My
Denis
Dropbox-
Villeneuve for a new Mass Effect?
Yes, that could be a good one. My Dropbox links to those videos is dead now.
Oh.
I can't access those videos anymore of that game. I went to click on them a few months back, and I was like, well, these don't work. Not Peter Jackson, though. Wasn't he involved in the King Kong one? On
He
360?
was, yeah.
Yeah,
It was
so
his
not Peter
studio.
Jackson. So no, not Peter Jackson. I don't know. I'll stick with Neil Blomkamp. Neil Blumkin.
Okay, Htyham.
Okay. Good old Collingwood. Happy February. I don't know if happy was intentional or not. That's how my Greek grandmother says it. Happy February, John, Nick, and Jesse. I think everyone can agree. HiFi RUSH is an incredibly fun game. It's a game where you can get into it very quickly. The gameplay is easy to pick up, the objectives crystal clear, and playtime stretches from minutes to hours. There's no grinding, no skill trees, no multiple objectives, just pure and simple. If this was around when I was in university, it would be in an arcade, eating 20-cent pieces like a kid grabbing at French fries. So, what other games have you played that are just pure, unadulterated fun, apart from Vampire Survivors? Good old Collingwood. And there's a PS. Nick, how about that southerly cold front over the last couple of days? Snow in February. Oh, ridiculous how cold the last 2 days have been in February. February has traditionally been Melbourne's hottest month. Like, we get 40-degree days all the time. We had snow in the mountains in February. Like, I've had the ducted heating on.
Wow.
In bloody February.
Wow, the climate's really changing.
It's just been... Yeah, well, I mean, they tried to tell us that La Nina should be coming to an end in February and it would get really hot. January was hot as hell and the second half of December was hot as hell. But now that La Nina is supposed to be ending, it's freezing cold here. So you tell me how that works. Anyway, pure fun. Crackdown. The first Crackdown was pure, unadulterated fun. Like, it was just fun printed onto a DVD. Crackdown.
Pure
Rocket League.
Fun, huh? Pure fun. Not allowed to say Vampire Survivors, huh?
No.
No.
House of the Dead.
Can't think of a single game that's pure,
Daytona USA.
unadulterated fun. They're all miserable, serious things that should be contemplated as art.
But they are these days. That is what they're all doing. That's the problem.
It is a problem.
NBA Jam.
I think something like Fusion Frenzy was pure, unadulterated fun. I really liked Fibbage. If you ever played Fibbage as part of the Jackbox party games, it's really good. Anyone can play it as long as they've got a phone. It's good. It's a good party game. Yeah. But there's loads of stuff like that for me. Like, I have loads of games like Halo and Gears is pure, unadulterated fun.
Yeah, you have fun with them. I know what good old Collingwood is saying. Yes, you have fun with Halo, but Halo is not fun, if that makes sense. Like don't be disingenuous. Like, I get exactly what he's saying. There is
something
games
bright
that you
and
have
colorful
fun.
and cheery and like.
No, like
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. Viva Pinata.
Something that never gets
What?
not being.
no.
How is that not
No.
fun? That's pure fun. It's a great little game.
No, it's not. Viva Pinata is like a gardening sim. That is not fun.
How is that not fun?
It is a great game. Look,
Man.
good old Collingwood. I know exactly what you're talking about, and that's why my answer was Crackdown. NBA Jam. Look at the games I'm listing. Crackdown, NBA Jam, Rocket League.
How's Crackdown not in a similar? It's an open world jumping around blowing shit up game.
Crackdown is pure fun. That's right. Like, it's about you jumping, you're becoming like a superhuman and collecting orbs, and then
Not
therefore
that deep.
becoming more
Never has
superhuman.
anything super serious. Is just the joy of gameplay.
Yeah, it's just fun.
Ninja Gaiden.
I
Black.
love Halo as much as the next person, but I wouldn't say, oh, Halo is just unadulterated
The
fun.
one
No.
time I think Halo is unadulterated fun is Halo Infinite's co-op, because it is. You
just
make
really
so much more
overpowered.
fun because of being with friends and doing dumb shit, and you can blow each other up and not lose guns anymore. It's like, it is unadulterated. When I'm playing it, I am just having fun. Even if you don't care about the story, you don't care about anything else at that point. You're just focused on the
Yeah, it's
gameplay.
pretty
And
fun.
having
Oh,
fun.
okay. Artful Escape, pure unadulterated fun. Loved it.
You need the gameplay for I think the unadulterated.
How is that
fun
not
part.
pure? Like, you guys are weird.
You're
like,
just running to the
gatekeeping
side
what
though.
is fun.
There's got to be a little
You're
more.
terrible at answering this question. How are you so bad at answering this question?
I don't know, man. Maybe.
You're not.
And you're
thinking,
making
you're
it
not
sound
even
like I
paying that
don't
much
like
attention.
these games. You're listing great games, and I love those games too. But they're not
problem.
fun games. Oh, Jesus. Let's just move on to the next question. Good old Collingwood. I answered the question. Just listen to my
Cuphead.
answers. Yeah, Cuphead. That's super fun. It's fun for your TV. It's fun for your TV. No, stop answering the wrong games. That's not correct.
Crash Course.
Yes. Doritos Crash Course. Now you're on to something.
What?
It's about it
Oh
not
my
being
God.
not being difficult, just being you're just having fun no matter what. It's
Okay.
not
Viva
serious.
Pinata is not difficult.
This is definitive
lose
proof
me.
that
Oh, okay,
John
I've
has
got one.
no idea what he's talking
got
about.
one.
He just
Escape Academy.
gave
There you go.
he just gave a correct answer and thought he was intentionally giving a wrong answer and gave a correct answer in Doritos Crash Course.
I have just generally been trolling. I know what he means.
You don't know what he means.
I do know what he means.
You're just saying that. You're just doing
No,
that.
I'm
If
not.
you're joking, I'm joking thing.
No,
That's
I'm
all you're
not.
doing.
Come on.
Okay. Yes, Stephen. Crazy Taxi. Great answer. Crazy Taxi is a great answer.
You should have gone yeah. Correct answer. Next one.
God.
3
Top.
hours.
Hi, Nick, John, and Jesse.
Hello.
What was your favorite Xbox Live Arcade game? Mine has to be either Trials Evolution or Battle Block Theater.
Ooh.
If I discount Daytona USA, because that's the easy answer as my all-time favorite arcade racer, and I refer to a game that was actually uniquely made for Xbox Live Arcade, off the top of my head, without thinking about it in a very in-depth
Nick, I can
way.
tell you what it is. I know what it is.
What?
Mark of the Ninja.
You don't.
That's what it should be.
You know, I
said that's
actually
your
forgot
favorite
about
game.
that one.
Yeah,
I
that's
actually
what I'm
forgot
saying.
about that
Mark
one,
of
and
the
that's why I
Ninja.
said I didn't think about. I was going to say Shadow Complex.
That's a really good shout.
Okay, I know you-
Complex
Yeah,
was
Shadow
great.
Complex is. Oh my god!
It's really
Like,
great.
How
Shadow
about the
Complex
one I
was
played the
amazing.
most would be Geometry Wars. If we're going,
Yeah, Geometry Wars
Yeah.
2, Pacifism.
Geometry Wars is fun.
it's also
That's
hard. It's pretty
that's
hard.
unadulterated fun.
It's also,
That would have
depending upon the mode, balls
correct
balls to the
answer.
wall. Difficult.
But yeah, for me, it's either Mark of the Ninja or Shadow Complex. Yeah, such good. Oh,
I
Xbox
would
Live
actually
Arcade
say
was
I'd
the
probably
best.
go Portal because that was an Xbox Live Arcade. Portal's still
yeah, it
alive.
was.
I played that a lot.
Yeah,
I had a lot of fun with Explosion Man,
Super Meat Boy.
like doing
yeah,
the co-op. That
Explosion
was,
Man was good.
ridiculously difficult. But
I might actually have to say
Uh,
Super Meat Boy just because of the music.
yeah,
Yeah.
good shout.
Should have.
Okay. Not Jack. Why do you think Halo is such a popular topic for games media? It's obvious that the vast majority of these people / outlets don't actually play Halo, but every morsel of information causes them to reopen the exact same discussion nearly every week. Does it get lots of clicks because people love to jump on the hate wagon? There's
Yes.
a little bit of that. At this point, I think talking about ABK is less repetitive than 343. Well, yeah, I mean, we were alluding to this earlier. Like, Halo unfairly has baggage lumped on it just because it's Halo.
And because
Like-
Xbox has different expectations, and Halo has been their biggest franchise for a while.
That's right. Like, you think about it, right? There's still a lot of people in the game media that hate that Xbox exists and that Microsoft is in gaming. Halo is the Halo's the reason that Xbox exists. So that hate they have that Microsoft even exists in gaming is naturally paired with Halo's existence because Halo is the reason Xbox exists. So that's why Halo has these unfair expectations of having to be the perfect video game at all times.
It
in
would be
all
the same
aspects.
as if you heard the kind of development rumors you hear about 343 about the studio making Zelda. Like
Yeah.
the team at Nintendo, if it suddenly was Carnage.
Yeah. Can you
You
imagine?
know?
Like, we heard that Naughty Dog was crunching everyone, and we heard about that for like a week or two, and that went away. It just went away.
And how
Because,
many
you
times
know-
has Zelda been delayed? It's been what? We're at 6+ years since, and it's an iterative sequel essentially. Like, people just like, oh, I don't
It's
even
just
believe it's
that
coming
it's
out
just-
this year.
It's just those different expectations.
Yeah.
Like, and that doesn't take away from the mess that 343 has been, because they have been. But that also doesn't change that Halo also has expectations that other games do not. It is what it is, unfortunately. And that's why I think Halo 4 was sort of on the right track of where they should go in terms of, not in terms of how Halo should be, don't get me wrong, because Halo 4's campaign wasn't very memorable. But in terms of, they were focusing on the visuals because they knew that Halo had to look amazing. They knew it did, and it did. Halo 4 looked unbelievable. And those sacrifices were made. But they were on the right track in where they put their focus first, I thought. Because Halo 4 still felt good to play.
Yeah. Once you
I
took
thought
out the
gunplay
game mode stuff, but the actual movement of your Spartan,
yes,
weapons
Halo
was
4
fine.
still felt good. But there were sacrifices made for the game to look the way it did that people obviously didn't like. The AI wasn't good. There wasn't much physics involved like people love about Halo. The levels were very small. And that was the sacrifice we got for probably arguably one of the greatest looking games of that generation. Like, even now, if you boot up Master Chief Collection and you start a fresh game of Halo 4 and you just come out of that cryo thing, that just initial scene that you walk out to when you get out of the cryo thing and you're on the ship, it just looks, it's breathtaking. Like, it's unbelievable how that looks. Even now, a decade later, it looks unbelievable. Just, such a good looking game. I think, unfortunately, and I say the word unfortunately, that for the next Halo game, the number one priority, not the only priority, but the number one priority needs to be how it looks. It's how they're going to get it off on the right foot. It's the only way they're going to get the next Halo game off on the right foot, by focusing on how it looks. Number one.
We'll see.
I'm not saying that's good, and I'm not saying that's right. I don't like that that's the case, but that's the case. Okay. Omen. Hi all. I recently watched who's Min-Max? Min-Max's interview with the director of HiFi RUSH, John Johanas. Great interview overall. Something I found interesting is that Johanas says he has never actually spoken to Phil Spencer or Matt Booty. I'll preface this by saying that I don't know what the typical day-to-day should look like for Phil and Matt. So maybe I'm wrong here, but am I the only one surprised that they're not checking in with all the game directors on their projects? Perhaps, and maybe rightfully so, Phil and Matt try to take a hands-off approach with Bethesda. What do you all think about that information? Well, I didn't know that. I didn't know that he had never met Phil or Matt.
It doesn't surprise me, right?
Sorry.
They're in Japan, for one, and I think they
That's
have
true.
segregated. They've kept the wall up between Bethesda and Xbox in terms of how they operate, right? Like all the publishing stuff, all of the drop here was Bethesda's lead, as we understand it, like the shadow drop and everything.
We deal with Bethesda for review code. We don't deal with Xbox PR.
Exactly. And it wouldn't surprise me that, Bethesda have their leadership, and when Phil and Matt want an update on things, they go to that person, and that person then goes to the head of the studio, who then goes to the game director, and yada, yada, yada. It's just
But it is
it
a
doesn't
little bit...
surprise me.
Yeah, but I think it's a touch odd. Not even a, hey, why don't you show me what you guys are working on? That's all. I'm not
They
saying
might
get
have,
involved.
just not from him. They knew about the game.
Just a quick, hey, John, but you want to give us a look at what you're doing over there?
I'm
This
guessing
liver.
somebody else gave them a look at what they were doing over there. Not him.
I don't know.
Maybe.
There's also, the acquisition closed and the pandemic hit. Maybe now that Phil and Matt are finally traveling again, that will change. But there was a good 2-year chunk where there was no travel allowed. So
Yeah, no, but he's been to Japan a few times.
he has, yeah. Surprising that he's not met him, but who knows?
And I'm sure Phil is acutely aware that when he tweets stuff like, just checked out the new game from this studio, looking real good, and people get all hyped and whatever. Like, everyone saw Phil holding that controller playing Perfect Dark, and everyone was like, oh man, I wonder what Phil's playing. And they were talking about whatever Perfect Dark was at that time. Just a bit surprising. Like, Phil was on our show and he said, State of Decay 3, man, do I love what I'm seeing there. Which got people talking about State of Decay 3. And everyone was like, oh man, I wonder what's happening with State of Decay 3. And that's what I'm saying. That's why I said I'm surprised he hasn't even spoken to the director of their current hit game. Look, there's a greater discussion to be had, which I'm not going to have publicly about it, because I may say things that people will not like. So, last question. Jesse brother. Sup, gentle gents. Have to tell you, episode 3 of The Last of Us was truly special. Nick Offerman and Murray Bartlett gave absolutely stunning performances. Love that Druckmann let things play out a little differently. Makes me wonder what other surprises are in store for us. Yeah, Murray Bartlett's Aussie. He's a good actor. He's in the Lotus... What's it called?
White
Lotus. He's in that too.
Season 1.
Season 1 of White Lotus. He's also in Physical. Apple TV Plus's Physical. Season 2, I want to say.
Nobody has Apple TV Plus.
But yes, it was excellent.
It's got great
episode of
stuff,
television.
but nobody has it.
Apple TV Plus, the only streaming service to win an Academy Award.
That's what they're going for. That's why nobody gets it. People don't want serious shit. We want dumb stuff. We like reality.
Watch Shrinking. If you like Ted Lasso, and who the hell didn't like Ted Lasso?
I don't like Ted Lasso.
What?
I never watched it. I don't have Apple TV Plus, and I couldn't give two shits about soccer. So there. Bam.
You don't have to. I don't care about the Premier League either. I don't care about the Premier League. Soccer is stupid now. I used to like it when I was younger. I don't like soccer anymore.
Most people don't have Apple TV.
You don't have to.
It's
a great TV show.
That's fine. Put it on something else.
Shrinking with Jason Segel and Harrison Ford is an amazing TV show.
Apple TV has a lot of great looking stuff that people really enjoy, and yet still it's by far one of the lowest sub services.
John, watch Shrinking. It is.
I'll investigate what you're asking me to investigate.
You just find yourself a streaming service with which to stream Shrinking
on the high seas,
and you watch Shrinking. Huh?
Nothing.
On the high seas.
Is it linked to any of your web browsing sites you mentioned, Nick? Or?
Well, let me work my cinema magic. The Buccaneers alcove.
Jesus. I don't know what they're talking about, guys. GDI would never harm children.
Yes, Last of Us episode 3 was very good. And
it was.
Like, a lot of people were like, I didn't follow the game because it was setting up backstory for a character in the game.
Yeah. I think it was just an exceptionally well done piece of TV that
my wife loved it.
Really, really surprised me at how good it was.
Yeah, but Nick Offerman's a very good actor too.
He was.
So is Murray Bartlett. So
they both did an excellent job. It was really good.
Yes, it's funny. There was some talk around a couple of oddities in that episode, which are very minor, nitpicky things. But I mean, even I'm the sort of person that generally switches off when I just watch stuff. I just watch it to watch it. But even this made me sit up and go, that's odd. Why is Nick Offerman just standing out in the middle of the road to be shot really easily and wondering why he got shot? He was just like standing out there.
Not in cover.
In the open. Like, I'm like, why is he doing that? Why isn't he just hiding behind some cover? Again, not a huge deal or anything. It's just something I noticed and found it somewhat odd. And then all the bad guys just kept walking into fire traps. It's like,
or jumping on the electric fence.
The other 7 guys cop the fire trap to the face. Like, why did you just then keep walking into your fire trap? It's sort of like that joke. 2 guys walk into a bar. You'd think the second one would have seen it coming.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So that's it?
Yes, that's it. The Last of Us the Last of Us show looks
be
like
an
it'll probably go
incredible
from
season
strength to
one.
strength.
Great season
Yes,
1.
and
I don't know about season 2.
I am very interested to see what happens with season 2 because they have confirmed that season 2 will be based on The Last of Us Part 2.
Season 2
So-
and maybe 3 though, because Last of Us 2 is so friggin' long.
I'm not going to spoil it for my wife, but I know that when Part 2 begins and what we all know happens in Part 2 happens, oh boy, that's going to be some interesting social media discussion.
It'll be the Red Wedding all over again.
Oh boy, my wife will be. She'll be like, "What the?" She'll be like,
This is where Bruce left, and it was just Neil, and so sorry.
Oh man, that's good. I can't wait to see that reaction.
Well. Anyway, chat. It has been a 3-hour show on the nose
wow,
right this
too.
second. So it's been really fun hanging out as always, and we love you guys. We'll see you next week as per usual. I think that's about all there is to say.
We may have a special guest next week.
Oh, very special.
Yeah, we can say we are possible, potential, huge special guest surprise, but we don't know.
Okay, yeah. So how do we word this?
This person has told us they're going to be on, but we just don't know for sure.
This person has said to us, we've been trying to get this person on for a long time. Like a long time. I reckon possibly 2 years. Right?
Easily.
A long time. We're not super confident that this person will actually click the StreamYard link and enter the podcast when they should.
There may be a flaky snowstorm of sorts.
I normally joke at Nick when he's afraid that someone's not going to show up. I'm like, they're going to show up. But on this one, I don't know.
Yeah, we actually don't like. If he shows up, we'll be super pumped, right? Like, this is a great guest. And we like him a lot, but he's an extremely difficult person to nail down. And we're not sure if we want to actually publicly advertise that they'll be on out of fear that they may not actually show up on the day. So,
heaven forbid.
What we'll do is, the way we'll probably advertise it is, we may have a super special guest.
Cross your fingers.
That's the best we can do.
Chat's on the right track.
They know it's Jeff Keighley, and we'll just say it. I'm kidding. It's not.
Yeah. It's Jim Ryan. So
They just...
cross your fingers, chat. We love you lots, and we'll see you guys next week.
Ciao for now.
We're down.
I sleep. Until night.
Just absolutely no faith in Shane's word. Done.
It's off. It's been off. When it started, it was just the word Seamus put out there. Because desktop audio had been on from doing the buzzer, and I forgot to change it back. They all knew anyways. Everybody freaking knew. Yeah, it was about 2 or 3 seconds, and then I was like, oh, desktop audio is going up and down. They can hear me. No, they can hear me. My mic is on. They can't hear you. because Nick and John are talking, but they can't hear you. Or you guys can hear them. All right, goodbye, everyone. That was a great show. Thank you so much. Still here, everybody.